Sunken Ball game based on the trailers, and it was a bad puzzle ball game. I was very happy at the start. I stopped being happy.
Yeah, you guys really had a rough time with that second game there. It was really, like, visually it was really beautiful. And, like,
oh yeah, visually was great, but...
And there was a whole mechanic there with switching between different balls, but yeah, it sort of turned into a sort of a puzzle, but not really a puzzle, because it was more like the puzzle is just remembering the order that the balls need to go in.
Yeah, and you had to brute force things, and it just wasn't... It had such potential, but then it didn't.
Alright, no more of this Chrono Cross remix. Let's get some audio here. We're going to listen to good old Nighty. Nighty, of course, renowned that he never speaks a word. We've played games. We beat the entirety of Metroid Federation Force, and Nighty spoke not one word. But
it was nice playing with a full party, though. It was good. He communicated when he needed to.
Yep.
Just, you know...
Well, we not only cleared it, but we got all the extras. We got the secret bonus ending that you get for completing the mission with all the Metroid eggs. We completed the Blast Ball minigame to get our Hyper Mode upgrades. So Nighty is absolutely a stellar player, but he's also a very quiet individual, which also means that we get good audio from him, which we're going to be.
He likes playing video game too. Like, it's just he's here to play video game.
And then we've got some others here. We've got Someone325 up here. Someone325 has been a regular in a lot of our mystery events, including showing up for a lot of these segmented blind races and participating in a number of other events, including playing against Muware a couple of weeks ago when we did some 7th Cross Evolution as a bonus race. We've got Hopscotch, who is a long-term member of our community. Don't see him that much in these races. He does do a lot of races with Exuno, particularly a lot of sort of the games that other people might call trash, but others would consider the treasure of the discerning.
Treasure's a really strong word.
It is. It is a very strong word. And we've got Anisep. Anisep is another one who has been a regular in this community. Used to show up a lot for when we did the weekly blinds on Saturdays. Haven't seen so much of Anisep lately, but it's good to see that he has made a comeback here to join us for this Legend of Zelda series of races. Once again, this is although this is the first time that these players are playing Oracle of Ages, or Oracle of Seasons. This is not a starting from scratch. This is actually a continuation race from Oracle of Ages. The two games are linked.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about what passwords they can get. There's two fairly early. One of them gets you, I think, an extra heart container, and the other one lets you have more seeds. Both of those are probably going to be incredibly useful, because this game, compared to Ages, where everything was a puzzle boss and half the time a joke, most of these bosses aren't. You actually have to fight them, because this is supposed to be an action game. So they have more health, and they have less gimmicks. It's just fight them until they die.
Yeah, Muware started off in this race. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it through. The bad news is this game also features a dancing minigame, and the game also does reward you with a unique item, which allegedly is required, but in reality it's not actually required. You can actually skip the dancing minigame in this entire segment, and it'll be interesting to see if any of our players in fact do that.
There really isn't a good reason to skip it. Like, it's a helpful item that you get, but yeah, it's not. So everybody, the only person who's one of the things that happens when you go between games A and B as the race is getting started is you keep your animal. Anisep is going to lose like significantly less time and is going to save like a minute plus just by having Dimitri. It skips a cutscene, it skips a whole thing. It's just, it saves a lot of time to get Dimitri. To the point where Dimitri's the second fastest animal in this game, mostly because of how slow it is to get Moosh in the first place. despite the fact that to get Dimitri, you have to spend 5 minutes dancing at the Subversion Dance minigame. And I didn't believe one of the speedrunners of this game that it was in fact 5 minutes long until I watched a VOD, and it's 5 minutes long. Which is kind of insane. Oh, and so this is one of the differences that happens between, when you play Seasons Fresh, this is just a traveling band of just, you know, musicians. However, when you play Ages First, they're like, okay, Twin Rova's doing some shit, so all of the troop has been replaced with, undercover Hylian Knights. And if anybody's ever watched any cutscene in any Zelda game, everybody knows how effective the, army of Hylia is at accomplishing anything.
I mean, the real question is that because all soldiers in Zelda games are absolutely incompetent, or is it because Link is just that bad, like, that amazing of a swordsman? Because
oh, I mean, like, it's a noted thing that Link is that, like, it's like, because if you played Breath of the Wild, it's like, yeah, Link is so good that he's the champion because he could beat all 4 of the other ones. He was stronger than them. And then proved that by killing all the things that killed them. But yeah, so, as you can see, everybody's drinking and being merry and dancing, and then General Onyx shows up and uses Whirlwind, which, he's cheating because he's going first. It's supposed to have -6 priority, and just, you know, swaps out all the other random Pokemon.
So in the previous game, we battled against Varan, the Sorceress of Shadows. Kind of a unique villain that makes this game a little more fun than your traditional Zelda game, where it's Ganon all the time. So we defeated Varan, who we revealed her true form was that of a shape-shifting insect. And now we've got Onox, who's this gigantic armored dude who is going to totally be a melee tank when you have to fight him.
Onox is cool.
Yeah, I definitely think of the two villains, Onyx is the more fun one, which is part of the reason why it's fun doing it in this order. I think that you get the more fun for the second one. Yeah,
well, you get more fun on the final boss too, because you don't have to use the siege shooter. But yeah, this is definitely like this dude just accomplishes things immediately and then with absolute force. He's got no time for any of the other crap that Ambi does. He's just like, nah, here's my plan. Trap you in a crystal, sink the thing, wait for the world to destroy itself because switching temperatures 1,000 degrees every day is going to basically rip it into pieces.
I mean, for a moment I would say that 1,000 degrees shifting temperatures is a really big margin, but then I remember you are up north and that it does get pretty cold, like -800 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, something like that. And then, like, yesterday it was, you know, 80. Today it's like, you know, -5. Shit happens.
So we see someone is playing on a Game Boy Advance, and we know that because next to the Note Albert's hut is the Advance Shop, which sells an Advance Ring, which does literally nothing but fills up one of your slots if you're going for all rings.
So this is something that is also, when you do a linked game, you start with a sword. You don't have to do the first dungeon. Who recognizes that is going to be a whole thing, but the starting dungeon is replaced with a long, complex path. And basically, if you get through that, you get, one, a very important password, which is going to save you a lot of time, and okay, here we go. Someone has found Bibbin and Blossom's house. And there's the clockmaker, that's also important. Okay, you see the red text, we know we need a wooden bird. That's another thing about this game I like more. The trade sequence flows in order.
I feel like both of them flow in order. This one, my recollection though, is it had a lot more back and forth. That even if you did it optimally, you still gotta go back.
I felt that one more of Ages, just because there's no good way to get back to patch. This one, you're kind of always going, okay, so we see, most important part, they found, Anisep, is Anisep on the stream?
Yes, Anisep is on the stream.
Okay, has found Vaju, and is getting his rings. And their first goal right now, maybe they don't recognize it, is they gotta find the Deku Tree. Or the Maku Tree, not the Deku Tree. Maku Tree, that one.
Completely different kind of tree.
There's a lot of fucking trees in Zelda games. But anyway, so once they find him, because it's a male tree in this game, they'll be given their progress. All they gotta do is they gotta have the sword out and prove that they're a hero. It's a lot more obvious when you don't start with a sword. And there we go, all your rings from Lavina. Check with Vazu. And you get the friendship ring. There's gotta be a better ring in there somewhere, Anisette. Okay, someone thinking about the level 2 power ring.
Yeah, this is a little bit tricky, because for most of our players, when they finished up seasons, they had a ring box with 3 slots in it. Now they're going back to 1 slot, so they got all these really awesome rings, and they gotta decide one of these rings is the one that they really want.
Yeah, when I was playing back through this, I figured I'd actually get all of the unique rings, because in order to do it, you have to beat the game 3 times, because you have to go through ages, you have to go through seasons, and then you have to go backwards, basically.
Yes.
Which I think they go seasons to ages, skip the back half of the seasons, get back half of ages, and then do ages again into seasons. Just so they get all the unique rings, because you have to go back and forth between A and B. And okay, we see Anisette making it to the Maku Tree first, and as you can see, he's withered because the essence of nature has been sapped from the land. Which makes sense! Unlike whatever timey-wimey bullshit that happened.
Alright, so 2 of our players figured this out. It is a little bit confusing that you have a sword in your inventory and nobody tells you about it. So we could see some of our players getting confused. Oh, maybe Nighty noticed that sword there.
Yeah, it makes a little bit more sense in ages, because it just kind of works. Just because of the way that you end up traveling, you will... Because you do a lot before you got your sword, right? Or you were just given it, right? So... This one, normally you're supposed to walk through a whole ridiculous, like, small dungeon to get a sword.
Uh-oh, we've lost Nighty. Let's go ahead. We had one more person in this race. Who was the last person? It was Zenik.
Got Hopscotch, someone, Anisette, and Zenik. Zenik is definitely going to be playing this slow, but that's good. This is, again, both these games are very good casual experiences. Actually, like, the hardest part about some of this game for me is doing inputs that are better, or rather that, like, doing Link's Awakening inputs, because Feather is so good in that game, and just, you can't do the same jumps even remotely. And alright, there's Zenik is trying to talk to the fast child.
We got a speedy alpha in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll be able to see the end of that quest, and yeah, so that is the training dungeon. There's a suspicious torch. That probably won't be relevant later.
Completely useless.
Yeah, completely useless. Definitely won't have to remember that.
So the good news is...
Honestly, that's my favorite side quest in the entire game.
So we did give the players a couple of hints in the paste bin. One of them is I did give the players the warning that the Hero's Cave is an optional dungeon. So
Anisette named this guy Bob, and I don't remember if I've ever seen that sprite. I don't think I've done that one. I always aim to get Hero Bipsum. Which is like, it's some vague choices where you kind of pick the middle thing and have them make their own decisions. If I remember correctly, but that's like Hyperactive Child, which I think that one can turn into a musician or like a cook.
Alright, looks like someone is the first of them to, first of our players to leave town through the good entrance, which is to head on north.
Yeah, one thing that is actually quite convenient in this game, surprisingly, is that you push select and you notice that the town is at the bottom of the map. Meaning that basically you're always kind of venturing outward and moving around, and it also means that there isn't like weird blocks they have to do because everything is on top of each other. There's also no horrible ocean in this game. Because, you know, up north is mountains. That's true in every Zelda game, I'm pretty sure. Is that the most northern region is always mountains.
Now we have this incredibly original concept for a first dungeon. The first dungeon is in a tree root on a little island that you have to cross over a west bridge to get to. Completely original concept for a dungeon in a Zelda title.
Absolutely never happened before in a Zelda game.
And I think part of that is because this was originally developed as a remake of the original Legend of Zelda, and then it sort of morphed into its own thing. So we'll see a lot of Zelda 1 sort of references here. Like we saw someone just found there's just this old dude who's just hanging out in this dungeon surrounded by skeletons, and all he does is dispense advice to people who happen to wander in.
Yeah. I think there's one of them that might be a mildly famous line that they reused. But yeah, the old man, he gives you some useful return light into unlit torches, which isn't really super helpful. But you know.
Whenever I think of it, have you read the comic Dr. McNinja?
Yes.
And I think about that one where he's in the temple, he's like, oh, what am I supposed to do in this room? Oh, there's some unlit torches.
Yeah. I need to go reread Dr. McNinja, because I was saving up for a while, so like I could binge watch like something, and it finished, and I just haven't gotten back to finishing it. But it's been so long that I'll probably enjoy the whole thing all the way through again, because it's just so good.
It's excellent. Zenik not getting tripped up on the sword needed to get to the Maku tree. Is trying to figure out what he's supposed to do with this stupid tree. Oh, here you go.
It's got a big bubble. Yeah, there you go.
And as somebody pointed out, since it's a tree, that's probably a sap bubble, so it probably, like, now Link's sword smells like maple syrup.
Hopscotch has found the first secret.
Yep.
And we're gonna see if he boots into ages to go to the fairy woods to test that secret out. I kind of really hope he does.
Yeah, so the only thing that I put in the paste bin, I gave him a quick rundown that it's get the secret, go to the previous game, get another password, put it back into the first game. I did put in a comment that I do want the players to be doing that while they're on race time, so that we can all enjoy that feeling of living vicariously through their gameplay and witnessing them play through Oracle of Ages again to get all those passwords.
Yeah, and some of the passwords, like, they come with kind of ridiculous minigames. I probably won't see many of them, but there's, like, some very, very good items that they can get via the passwords. One of which, I think, makes the game... will make some of these final segments completable, in a sense, because they are not easy when you have level 2 sword.
Yeah, most of the secrets that you get are just level 3 upgrades to things like getting you your level 3 ring box, your level 3 sword. But there are a number of those other secrets that are going to give you unique items that you don't see if you played this only as a single game.
Yeah, one of them is, honestly, it's the best minigame ever. Which, hey look, we got Boomerang Moblins. They got some weird name in this. I think it begins with a G.
Are they Moblins or Gorias? I thought Gorias were.
I think those are Gorias. Yeah, I believe those are Gorias. Well, in some of them, the Boomerang, it's the same sprite. It's just a Moblin, but they gave them a unique sprite in this.
So this is the room that tests how well you know Zelda 1. Anisep would know that the left block is the correct one.
Yeah, and then this room looks familiar. We're not going to see that a lot.
It's literally just a bag, but that bag is just so precious. Zelda games have this interesting gimmick of taking items that are pretty mundane and making them precious, like bottles. bottles are solid gold in Zelda games, but you know, I got like 3 of them on my counter right now, and it's
Yeah,
like,
but I
what
mean,
do
like,
do with them?
think about the society they live in. How easy do you think it is to make glass?
Alright, so it looks like you got your wish here, Alpha. Hopscotch is already in Oracle of Ages, hunting down the secret.
Oh man, this is great. So yeah, so Hopscotch is gonna have to play a game with the fairies. He's gotta find them first. They're around.
He doesn't actually have to do any game for this one. This one is just to turn in the password. But he does have to find the fairy. It's just in the normal one. Hopscotch trying to remember which is the pick things up, and remembers it's got the stupid looking graphic for the Power Glove level 2.
Hopscotch is like looking for a fairy, and I'm pretty sure it's just one screen left of where he was. And there's the nightmare key for Anisip.
Oh,
But yeah, like we're looking.
Someone's also having a little bit of trouble here finding the correct block.
Yeah, so I don't quite remember what the fairy one gets you.
It's a heart container. It just gives you an extra.
Oh yeah, heart container. Yeah, yeah, which is that's always useful. Hopscotch, did you actually save there? There you go.
I mean, technically, it wouldn't matter if Hopscotch saved or not. All he needs is the password.
It is a little useful, for some things.
It's really not, but okay.
Well, no, there's the one where you need to because you get a ring and then he just tells you, yeah, just go to Vaju and transfer it that way.
Oh, that is, you are right. You can get a ring for some of these, and you do then have to go through the process of getting your ring password again and transferring it over. And thankfully, the snake is pretty smart that he'll recognize if you just got one new ring, he'll just add that one ring. It's not going to be like you have to give up some of your rings because the password's going to overwrite or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, basically I just think it like, okay, these are the rings, and oh, hey, look, it's Aquamantis.
So this is where perspective just simply doesn't work, because you're standing at ground level, but you walk a little bit to his left, and then suddenly you can reach his horn. Like, this makes no sense whatsoever.
Listen, maybe he's just crawling along the floor, strangely, and there we go, Aquamantis down.
So that's Alpha's visual, is Aquamantis is simply laying on his side.
Yeah, he just I mean, how else is Link gonna beat that big-ass dragon? It's impossible. The only way to do it is if he's just crawling along the ground. It's the only way it makes any sense.
So Hopscotch got his password. Unfortunately, I don't think Feor is available yet. I think you've got to complete at least one dungeon, maybe 2, before Feor shows up.
It's 2 dungeons, yeah.
But our players are definitely going to be very healthy early on here, because you get 1 free heart container simply for being in a linked game. That's why all our players start on 4 hearts, and then you're going to get that bonus heart for that secret. So you're going to be 2 heart containers ahead of where you would normally be if you were playing this first. So our players will have plenty of health going into these boss fights.
Yeah, and the first boss, not too scary. The second boss, is an absolute joke. Third boss is a real boss.
Yeah, we're not going to see any more bosses like that second boss in Oracle of Ages, where you had to throw it into the slot machine and hope that you win. So the worst is behind us.
Yeah, that's definitely true. The fact that we no longer have to deal with that. It's wonderful that we don't. That boss is probably the worst boss in a Zelda game. Unless you count, like, poorly designed bosses that are really, really easy as a worse boss, in which case it would be, what's the name of the Wizrobe boss from Zelda 2 that you just hold down and you win?
Oh, Karok?
Yeah. Because that one, you just walk into a corner and you have to wait until he shoots you and hits the mirror shield and then dies. And it takes
And not
It's just-
not only that, but it's random if he even gets hit, because he just teleports. There's not like you can't like time it or plan ahead. It happens. He dies or he doesn't.
So as long as you have the okay, so I see on someone's screen they bumped into Tracy. They'll know what the secret item is that they need to get to her. Or Maple, not Tracy. Tracy's a different witch.
Yeah.
There's too many Zelda games.
Tracy is the crazy one. Maple is the clumsy one. But yeah, so the games are very different in that too. In Ages, the last segment of the trading sequence was trading Maple for the item. In this one, it's almost the first one. Like the second trade in the sequence is Maple.
And fun fact, if you play the Game Boy Advance version of A Link to the Past, Maple replaces the random witch outside of the Magic Hut.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's the better version of the game, because it has 4 swords, and also because boots are on R, which, when you're not mashing it, is better.
Yeah, it also has Link make sounds. He goes, huh, huh, yeah!
Oh yeah, he does make sounds, and you can get Hurricane Blade if you play 4 swords. Which is really stupid. A Link to the Past, one of those games that is just like, we have 6 buttons on this controller, let's use 4 of them.
So someone has fallen for the trap, has purchased an advance ring.
I mean, what if he wants all the rings?
Then he's insane. Like, I've played through this. I've played the Linked, like, both ways, and I don't have all the rings.
I decided recently to do that, because I'd beaten it so many times, and I figured that'd be interesting. And all I'm missing are the unique other direction rings. And I gotta, finish the whole thing again to get the, you get a ring for defeating the final boss. It does absolutely nothing. Yeah, ring percent. The 100% category for this game is like 6 hours long. It uses arbitrary code execution to skip an Ages playthrough. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it reminds me of those Pokemon Pokemon runs that they do, where they use the glitches and they like go through the wall in order to get 2 of the fighting Pokemon from the trade. You're supposed to only get 1. Oh, looks like someone has also found the first of these secrets, and Zenik has found another secret that if a Wallmaster grabs you, it carries you back to the entrance of the dungeon.
Yeah, little old Zelda knowledge there.
I feel like the Wallmasters who come out of the floors, though, that's just not as satisfying as the original coming out of the walls, because that made you afraid of the walls, because you could stay away from the walls and not see them. So as a child, it'd be like, oh shit, this is a Wallmaster room, I'm so scared of the walls. And this one's like, well, they're coming out at you anyways, you just have to deal with it.
Yeah, alright. And Anisep has turned in the book, gotten a Lonlog egg, which, hey, that's what Maple was looking for. So, now we're just waiting for her to show back up.
Yeah, it's going to have to kill some more enemies. The appearance of Maple, the growths of the Gasha trees, those are all tied to how many enemies you've killed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and there are weird things. There's a lot of weird, like, intricacies about that, like, the Gasha trees, depending on their location, is what ring level they can spawn. As Zenix's trying to figure out how to damage Aquamantis. Same way as in Zelda 1, you just slap him. He can waste a ton of time. He's doing this charge move, and then flying, and I just remember hearing the speedrunners, I believe they manipulate this fight, which, it's like, I don't hate that, like, manips exist, but I hate that, like, they're used all the time, because then you're like, what are you really speedrunning if you know the outcome? At least in my opinion.
Yeah, Zenek's getting it totally...
Zenek is so unlucky, what the hell?
Yeah, I think
this
someone...
is a bad fight!
I think if you asked someone or Anisep right now about what attacks this dragon used, they would be stunned to hear he had a charge attack. They'd be like,
yeah,
what?
no, it's just like, I'm saying, like, I hate RNG manips, but this is exactly why it exists.
Anisep's also trying to play some weird games with bombs here. He really just needs to get in this dragon's face and just hit him with a bunch of
Zenek,
swords.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it worked. I think Zenek was convinced that that had to be the way to do it because you got the bombs in the dungeon, but
no,
if you played Zelda 1, you recognize the boss a little bit.
But that's not the dungeon treasure. The dungeon treasure was the seat bag.
Well, it was, but you also found bombs there.
Alright, so the reason why Oracle of Seasons is absolutely, definitively the worst Zelda game ever created, because not only does it have one stealth segment, it actually has two stealth segments.
Well, technically, if you're playing a linked game from C, it's got 3 stealth segments.
Jesus.
Because you have to do a password with the second stealth segment thing, and it's really stupid. But these aren't hard. This is Rosa. You can tell that she's a girl because she wears a bow. That's very important because every other the Subrosians are their whole like naming thing is just like it's secret, like it just means like secret place or whatever, and like extremely secretive. It's a really cool lore thing that doesn't really translate great into English. And let's see if it falls to the trap. Oh, so close. If they someone took the upper path, would have been absolutely wrecked. And now we're going to Subrosia, our hidden place.
So both of the games have a sort of two-world thing. In Ages, it was just the past and it was the present. In Oracle of Seasons, instead, it's the overworld, which is big, and it's the underworld, Subrosia, which is very small. It's a lot more straightforward to explore, though, because you can pretty much get anywhere from anywhere once you've unlocked a couple of items, as opposed to Ages, in which getting through most areas, even at the end of the game, is just a lot of swapping back and forth between worlds with that harp.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. You need ore chunks. It's a different currency here, because, you know, you're in a different world. There's a lot of... I really like Subrosia. They haven't used... I find it interesting. They haven't used the Subrosians in anything. Maybe Capcom owns part of them. I don't know. But they haven't shown back up. Even though the Rito have... as like the one-time races. And then the Rito also showed up in a game with Zoras in it, which made no sense. So...
I feel like some of it is the Subrosians. They have a lot of similarities to Gorons. You know, that they like to swim in lava. True. They like to, you know, that they joke about drinking lava soup and all that. So
they absolutely drink lava soup. So do the Gorons, in fact. One could say, like, I mean, if you're drinking something that hot, it's probably really good at curing a cold.
I mean, that way it cures your cold by just searing off a layer of tissue on the inside of your esophagus.
Yeah, more than a layer of tissue. Unless you're a Goron and you eat rocks. Or Link, who also can eat rocks. Not canon, but it's still funny.
So, we see someone has made it to the Temple of Seasons. As we saw in the opening cutscene, there used to be a Temple of Seasons. That is, if you remember from your elementary school learning, the reason why the Earth has seasons is because there's a magical temple that the elemental spirits use to transfer between the different seasons using a magic wand. And now someone has that magic wand.
Well, I mean, no, the Oracle of Seasons has that to help transition the seasons. And then the spirits, you know, but if it sinks into the center of the earth, it stops working, and then it just transitions all the time.
Yeah, that's a normal aspect of any magical temple. If you bury the temple, it stops functioning.
Yeah, so we'll see if someone skips the boomerang. It's pretty easy to do it. Doesn't open their inventory and switch to bombs.
Yeah, so in this game, that is, the boomerang is the reward if the players can do the dancing minigame. And in order to do that dancing minigame, they are going to have to learn to dance left, right, or do a little pirouette with the music. But that is optional, because if you use the bomb to get into the temple, you can still get the element, and then if you continue on with the game, as sort of a spoiler, there is another upgrade to that boomerang, but it doesn't care if you have the level 1 boomerang or not. If you don't have it, you just get a level 2 boomerang, and the players might be stunned to realize there was a level 1 boomerang at any point.
Yeah, but someone didn't open their inventory, and so it's hard, right?
It's one of those. It's one of those things that you wonder if that was like a deliberate design decision. Like, do the players realize that? Because I think that Zelda games normally they don't make you use bombs on switches.
Yeah, I mean, I think it may have been a choice to just allow them to do that because it doesn't matter, right? You don't really need the boomerang until you need the level 2 boomerang, but they didn't want to give you that strong of a boomerang. I don't remember. Oh, right, this is, I think, Game Boy Advance only. Those letters pop up like that.
Oh, letters?
Yeah, did you not see them? Big letters pop up on the Game Boy Advance versions.
I don't see any letters.
And, so Anisep used bombs.
Yeah, so Anisep is going to get to move along here. It's possible Anisep doesn't even spot the dance hall, or maybe spots it and immediately runs away because of dark feelings. There's the boomerang for someone. Someone is going to be able to hit things with that boomerang now.
Yeah. The most use you're going to get out of that boomerang in the immediate is defeating anti-fairies and sparks.
Yeah, it is true. The boomerang in the handheld Zelda games is sort of weird. For folks who might not remember, in Link's Awakening, you can get a boomerang, but it's actually really kind of hard to get because you have to find a cave in an obscure corner, and the dude is like, I'll trade you your shovel for a boomerang, and you're like,
it's whatever's on your B button.
This feels pretty sketch.
Yeah, and you get a boomerang, and it's the strongest weapon of the game. It one-shots the final boss. They nerfed it heavily in the remake. It's a shame.
So it inherited a lot of those abilities from Link's Awakening, that it's really good for getting rid of sparks and things. We've got the blacksmithy here, the Subrosian smithy. They only take jobs that interest them. Later on, in some goals, we may see some players attempt to get some useful work out of the smithy, which will take some effort.
It's pretty good.
There's a lot of good stuff. While I say that the Subrosians, they feel a lot like Gorons, they do have their own sort of a weird personality. You know?
Their personality is just on point. It's just so goofy.
Infernal Translator asks, what are the rules against sequence breaking? I mean, I don't know that there are any rules. We know that there's one dungeon that the players can do out of order. But I think the players, if they discover a dungeon that's much higher level than the ones that they're supposed to do, they'll probably just skip it because they want to complete this goal as quickly as they can.
Yeah. Maybe the Subrosian, those big letters, are just if you ask how to do it, and I haven't done that in forever, but I play, I love Subrosian Dance. It's just, I turn my eyes off, I listen to the sounds, and I just push the buttons, and then I win.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's just it when you ask them about the training.
Yeah, I love Subrosian Dance.
Anisep gets a, you're terrible, get out
How
of
are you
here.
that bad? I'll insult everybody over Subrosian Dance.
It
do
throws
that
you off
all day.
because it's one of those things where you think, maybe I just enter it as quickly as I can. I know I had a friend who played Brave Fencer Musashi, and I'm sure you've played that and you remember that there's a dance minigame at the end. And
I've only played the demo part that was in Mystery Tournament.
Oh wow, you need to play that. Yeah, there's a dancing minigame at the end of that one too that you absolutely will want to play. But my friend got that far. He's like, it's right at the end of the game, and he's like, I can't beat it. It's impossible. It's just it's impossible to beat it. It's like, did you try doing it in time to the music? Well, no.
Yeah, I like find it a lot easier to just close my eyes and do it, because then I can just match the sound, that I don't get confused by, you know, pictures. Like, it's really easy to just do that. So it's summer, as you can see, everything's much greener where someone is. And here's it's Sunken Falls, wet place, not great. Sunken City's up the waterfall, but we can't swim up waterfalls.
Yeah, and this one, I think more so than the other games, it's a lot of, you're hinted at all sorts of cool stuff that you can do while you're wandering around, because there's a lot more interconnectivity.
This is a shame. I really wish someone went one screen to the right and read the sign. I'm not going to spoil it in the event that someone does it, but it's a really good line.
And I think it's
hopefully Anicept does it.
And I think it's different on different releases. Like the first release has a different sign than the later releases.
I don't know. I've only ever seen the one line.
Here it is. Yep. So this is the original version, where it says Santa welcome.
Yeah, Santa welcome.
But in some of the later releases of the game, it's been edited. It doesn't mention Santa because, of course, you might have some cultures who they don't know what the hell Santa has to do with anything. So in other versions of the game, instead, she's advertising she needs a chimney sweep.
I've never seen that.
Yep.
Santa welcome, I think, is universal enough.
I mean, it catches a lot of the cultures that would play the English version of this game. And even if you didn't necessarily celebrate that holiday, it's still something you'd be familiar with.
Yeah, like, I feel like a chimney sweep is something that you get in the spring after a winter, right?
It's something you get when you live in London, and you just...
that's true. Well, yeah, you know, chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo and all that.
Yeah,
Pretty sure that's all Londoners do, is sing and dance on rooftops. That seems to be a frequent occurrence.
And someone is discovering another recurring gimmick here. Much like the original Legend of Zelda, you find some old men who just give you money just for showing up, and you're like, oh, that's sweet. And then you find the guy who's like, yeah, you busted down my door, please pay me. Even though your door is literally a plant rooted in the ground, and that you've been trapped underground because you can't remove that plant otherwise.
Yeah, it's a bit silly. And okay, someone actually skipping a useful password right there. Might see it later. But inside of that one hut, you can change it to winter. It'll be frozen.
I think we'll see someone grabbing that on their way out. They're kind of fixated on completing the main goal first.
This dungeon's a neat dungeon. I like this dungeon.
Yeah, so the first dungeon was a total copy of the first dungeon in the original Zelda. This is unique.
Yeah, it's a copy, but like everything is way bigger to show off. Hey, look how cool the Game Boy Color is. And here's money, but I'm just laughing at just the giant arrow, because it's just like not subtle at all. It's just wonderful. We see people going through. Yeah, I've just been playing this with Cursed Ring, and it's just like, man, ropes dying in one hit, I forgot how easy it makes it.
Yeah, you should probably tell
when ropes
everybody...
don't die in one hit...
You probably should tell everybody what Cursed Ring does, so that people...
Yeah, Cursed Ring does one half... Your sword does 1/2 damage, which is how you know that a Keese has a quarter heart of damage, because Keese always die in one hit. It also makes you take double damage from all enemies. No, like, Spike Floors still do the same amount of damage. These guys would do the same amount of damage, but, you know, Bats would do a full heart. Most bosses do anywhere between 1.5 hearts and 2 hearts of damage per contact. So, it gets a little scary. And it's how I came up with viably timed goals for this, because I have to play very differently and cautiously.
Alright,
and it was a new challenge. Yeah, okay, so this is a good one. I believe this is more, seeds,
yes.
Which, that's always good.
Yep.
going from 20 to 50 is nice, and then when you find the upgrade for free later, you just go straight to 99.
Yeah, that's a lot of seeds. That's
Yeah, and it's
seeds.
like, it means you're never running out of Pegasus seeds.
That's really an understated trick too. That like I think we saw, maybe it was Zenik in the previous race. Zenik picked up on Pegasus seeds equal fast, fast equals shorter time equals first place in the race, and put on those Pegasus seeds and just start chowing down on them.
Yeah. Okay, so I just see a Nighty screen. Nighty got the creepy doll, which the maple trading item, and definitely will run into the person who gives you the next thing, because it's kind of there on the way, and I hope they do go there, because they get a little linked game bonus if they go there.
I don't think this one has the chicken attack. I don't think you can actually piss off the cuckoos in this one, can you?
I don't know if there are any in a place that you can hit. If there's any above ground cuckoos, you definitely can have chicken attack. I think the ones in the house might do it too, but it's been a real long time since I bothered doing that. Because like that's a Zelda staple. That's in like every single game that there's an outside cuckoo, except for whatever happens in Twilight Princess where you like mind control the cuckoo.
And then you have Twilight Princess, where you also have the horrifying Chicken Man.
Yeah, I should replay Twilight Princess. It's been a while.
Twilight Princess is a pretty good one, actually.
Yeah, it's almost been, maybe it's been more than 15 years. I don't remember. I think the last time I beat it. Yeah, it's been about 15 years.
All right, Anisette
sure
notices this giant arrow.
Yeah. I think I've beaten every Zelda game more recently than Twilight Princess, which is weird.
Faces of Evil.
I did the remakes of it.
Oh, okay.
Recently.
Wow.
Which, after watching Grumpmeister play the originals on GDQ, and I'm like, okay, being able to actually have a jump height or air control is broken, which the remakes have. So,
Yeah,
like you didn't. It's like I didn't need the rope until super late in the game because there was no way to go up. That's how good your jumping is in the remake. It makes it a genuinely good game. Because the soundtrack is an absolute banger and the cutscenes are hilarious.
So our players are making pretty good time here. Their goal is to complete 3 dungeons, and we see 2 of our players are already on the second of those.
Hopscotch got wrecked! I was wondering if someone was gonna go that way.
Hopscotch wasn't the only one. I think Anisette also fell for it.
Anisette almost fell for it.
No, Anisette did fall for it.
Oh, did he? I missed it then.
Yeah. Yep, Anisette got caught by it too. Yep, when you get to the very end and Rosa walks off the screen, she does pop right back onto the screen a second later and catches you, says, "Gotcha!"
Yeah, at least they only do that once. Okay, so this is a tricky room that someone is on. Because someone's got to be fast.
Why does someone have to be fast?
Because this chest disappears.
Really?
Yeah, if you're too slow in this room, it just goes away.
Huh. I thought the trick was just that there's so many blocks that you can run out of bombs if you're dumb.
No, I've had that chest disappear before.
Huh. Yeah, it is kind of cruel.
You have to be real slow.
Alright, Hopscotch not falling for this a second time.
And I'm pretty sure all of the things outside drop all the things outside the dungeon drop bombs, or like that room drop bombs.
Yeah, outside of that room, it's really generous. A lot of these Game Boy Zeldas, they really put a lot of thought into what are the things the player's going to need, and don't make them wander all the way back to a shop to buy it. just give it to him in the room or in the room.
There's a dungeon in a later goal that like they require you to have ember seeds, and there's a Deku scrub in there who sells ember seeds for like some exorbitant fee, and in the room immediately next to the Deku scrub, there's infinitely respawning ember seeds. I just think it's really funny. Just like that Deku scrub is an opportunistic pile of garbage, and you know what? That's thematic. I like it.
Yeah, it totally fits. Alright, so Anisep is just getting a giant pile of bombs here, and there's some enemies across the way, and I think he's put a plan of attack is forming in his mind. And he immediately chucks the bomb.
I'm liking the
pit.
boomerang play to stun him out.
Yeah, so really good performance there. Although Anisep is at half a heart. Like
I would run into something.
He's absolutely petrified right now that he's about to die horrifically, so I can see why he's being really hesitant.
So we are fighting Facade. Facade in the English version of the game spawns correctly. In the Japanese version, his hitbox is active until you go like 4 tiles down, and then the fight starts. But the problem is that you can hit him with bombs from that distance. They changed it to 3 tiles in the English version. But he pops up so quickly, he's basically not even there, compared to Link's Awakening, where he does go away for a considerable amount of time.
Yeah, poor guy's been downgraded to just a mini-boss here.
Facade is, like... unless you're playing glitchless, isn't even fought in a... is barely fought in any version of any of these games.
So it looks like we've got 4 for 4 of our players on our restream doing the dancing minigame to get the boomerang. Everybody loves dancing in the Oracles games.
Yeah, and so here's more Pole's voice. This is, I think, the first Pole's voice you can get encountered without a musical instrument. Does he have the harp in Ages?
Yeah, and you get the flutes for your buddies in both games.
Yeah, and if we see Pole's voice, maybe they'll know. But okay, so they see the boss key door. When the mouth opens, attack from within, then superhuman strength will prevail. What does chat think boss of this dungeon is?
This boss of the game will obviously be Wart from Super Mario Bros. 2.
It's in a different Zelda game.
But his only attack is he plays a really long song for you?
Yeah, probably. Costs 300 money. It's an attack on your wallet, not your hearts.
So we've got these spinners here. We see someone trying to go through them. This is a unique element that both of the Oracles games use. That you have this spinner that it goes clockwise, and then once you hit it, it goes counterclockwise. And so the idea is you have to hit it, then find a way to go around the rooms, and then you hit it again, and it lets you go to a different room. And they like to use this quite a bit.
Yeah, this one, the whole puzzle is completely unnecessary. It's a little weird how it's set up. Like if someone goes back this way, they'll have to wrap back around. Someone thought about it, and it's like, no, the spinner's in the right spot currently. Just gonna go.
Nobody using their boomerangs against that spark.
Yeah, you gotta boomerang the sparks. No,
well,
wait. Oh, that's the right way.
And I think some of it throws you off too, because if you're familiar with the original Legend of Zelda, the boomerang is that first item you get. The boomerang is like the least useful item in terms of all it does is stun enemies. Like once your sword upgrades, you really just want to kill things. So you wouldn't think that your boomerang is actually going to just take out such a powerful enemy.
Yep, see, there it goes. Anisep, the chest disappeared.
Oh wow, you're right, it does disappear. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so superhuman strength, it's a Dodongo, and this is probably the best version of the Dodongo fight, because, I mean, I don't think there's a single version of the Dodongo fight that's hard. If you let him get an attack off, it's difficult, but, like, he opens his mouth, and, like, the hard part, like, this is the hardest time, is, like, you have to recognize instantly that he's about to throw it, because the sprite's a little hard to notice. But that's about it.
Yeah, I'd say that the hardest Dodongo version is the original Dodongos, of course, the ones where you have to time it carefully to hit them with the smoke instead of just throwing it in their mouths. Because that's actually the strategy in the original Zelda, is to let him be stunned by the smoke so he's vulnerable to your sword. But I think a lot of people, they just feed him 3 bombs and they're like, that's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, it is good enough. But yeah, it's just like Dodongo dislikes smoke is just a weird thing, because like what else in the Zelda games have that kind of property? I mean, at least like the early ones, like that's some super advanced tech.
So Anisep did fall for the amazing disappearing treasure box, but picked it up on the rebound. So I think at this point, Anisep's pretty close to finishing that dungeon. Of course, this game isn't nearly as good as Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening that reminds you every time you touch an ice block that it's very cold ice block.
It stops like there's a set thing of triggers for it where it stops reminding you. Like one of the triggers is completing Dungeon 2 to stop getting warned about like blocks. Because it knows you have the bracelet. Because they did a lot of weird checks there because they didn't actually have the processing capabilities to do anything.
Or you get like some of the later Zelda games where every time you pick up your first green rupee, it reminds you it's a green rupee and it's worth $1.
I heard they did away with that in the Skyward Sword remake.
I think that they did. Or made it so it only does it once.
Yeah, it does it the first time. It actually like maintains it. Gotta play that again too.
You just play them all as randomizers.
Skyward Sword randomizer would actually be pretty fun.
Yeah, there's actually a Skyward Sword randomizer tournament going on these days. I've caught a couple of the episodes of it. It's a lot of the later Zelda games. It's a lot of playing around with event flags. That it's not like not like Link's Awakening where it's just find the items and then use the items in obvious ways. It's a lot of know what the flags are, that you do this flag and you get you unlock a location, or you get this chart and then it makes this NPC show up.
Yeah, but it's like with some of the items and like how the world works for Skyward Sword, I was just gonna say like for the most part you can do some interesting stuff compared to some of the other later randomizers, which again, yeah, it's all about flag finding. Unlike even ages and seasons, the only lockout is whether or not you have an item, and then it triggers flags when you go places. So if you had the item beforehand, you can just do it. Seasons randomizer, I've seen people play, and it's a disaster because it's impossible. Because you find an item, and it's like, congratulations, you found Dimitri's flute. Have fun with the entire world being open, like, and it's just like, oh no.
Yeah, that's a big difference between Ages and Seasons. Ages was kind of funneled you through. It's, oh, you got this thing, now you can reach the second area. Oh, you got this thing, you reach the third area. We're going to see, not so much in today's goal, but definitely in the next goal, we're going to see how the players suddenly they have access to a pretty substantial amount of the world all at once.
Yeah, and it's just parts of the world are very deadly, or like there's only one area that is really locked to them behind a flag, like, and that requires you to have completed 5 dungeons, and then another part that requires you to have completed the 6th dungeon. But that's it. Those are like the 2 flags.
Yeah.
The rest you can basically do whatever you want.
So 3 of our players have found the fairy who's got this very useful secret. In fact, I'd say this is the much more useful secret than finding the heart container one.
Oh, yeah. And we'll see if they go and actually do the heart, do that secret.
So, I mean, someone is visiting the Dr. Wright here, and he's like, man, it's so dark in here. I wish somebody would light this fire. And so you light it. He's like, here you go. Have a book on chickens. It's like, is that the most random kind of a reward you get? Like, oh yeah, you look like the kind of guy who wants to read a book.
I don't know
chickens.
why are chicken eggs popular with the ladies? Like that's the why Maple wants them. It's like all the young girls want chicken eggs.
Well, it's like that thing where you do a mud mask, but instead of putting like cucumbers over your eyes, you fry an egg and then you put a fried egg over your eye.
I don't think that works. I'm just gonna say I don't. That doesn't sound right.
I mean, it sounds delicious. Suddenly I'm craving. I
would eat a fried. I had a fried egg yesterday. This guy would absolutely eat a fried egg.
So it looks like Zenic Reverie has jumped back to Oracle of Ages. It's gonna go hunt down a certain fairy-obsessed individual and gonna trade for a secret item.
Bright Shadow. The only thing I'm gonna say is if you're oh, and it's up by Tingle. I don't know where. Oh yeah, with the man who thinks to be a fairy, right? Everybody knows where that is.
So Zenic, a little bit familiar, did join our race last week where we played Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land on the Nintendo DS. So
I was so sad I was busy.
So he's a little more familiar with Tingle than he would care to admit.
If you play Minish Cap, you get pretty familiar with Tingle if you do all the Kinstone stuff, because there's a lot of Tingle subquests in that.
Yeah, for some reason, Wind Waker and Minish Cap, they decided that like people wanted more Tingle, and they gave him a whole extended family.
They gave him his own video game. Tingle's hilarious though, so it's fine.
They gave him 2 video games. He has 2 Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
DS
that's
games.
true. They didn't put him. Maybe Tingle will be in Breath of the Wild too. But anyway, Bright Shadow, I'm gonna say if you actually do try to do a fried egg face mask and put Tabasco in it, I only ask that you videotape it so we know how good you look at the end of it.
Yeah, you need to definitely do that as a TikTok video. I think that's what.
Yeah, or just live stream it so we can see your pores opening up in real time.
And this is an obligatory reminder here that any advice that you might get from Mystery Funhouse is the sole prospect of the people who gave you that advice. Mystery Funhouse Incorporated does not believe any of the actions of its moderators.
We don't have a corporation. We don't even have an LLC.
I mean, we've got a fake one where we wrote LLC on our business cards.
Oh, Facade just wrecking Nighty. He got knocked into a hole, and then Facade opened up a hole when he respawned. So he just fell in again. Never seen Facade put up so much of a fight. That's not true. There's the ROM hack versions of Facade, which are always impossible.
Yeah, Wind Waker did have several members of Tingle's family. Knuckles the only one I remember.
I don't remember their names at all.
And then I think in Breath of the Wild there was like a set of islands that was named after all of Tingle's family. Like there was
that I would believe. Because every area in Breath of the Wild was like a reference to something, and I really loved that. I'm pretty sure there's Lavina and Holodrum in Breath of the Wild, like just as names of areas, like the Holodrum Plains and the Lavina Peaks or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain of that. Yeah, there was a lot of references in Breath of the Wild to all.
I loved every second of it. It just made me. It was so much fun, like reading everything in that game and going everywhere.
And Anisette made a comment in the race chat saying apparently he really liked the sprite for the second essence. So now we got to keep our eyes open for when one of our players finishes the second dungeon.
It's an hourglass. It's a very stylish hourglass.
Huh. Someone making some double duty here, turning in both the fairy secret and the tingle secret in one go. So it's going to get 2 passwords here that they can swap back over to Oracle of Seasons and get some rewards. Someone has proven that he is more cool than Tingle. Tingle admits defeat.
Yeah. -H Club -M.
The inclusion of the cards suites or suits in this one, that really does sort of make it kind of tricky because your mind doesn't. It has a little bit of effort to like differentiate between the low resolution spade and the low resolution club.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I play when you play Randomizer, the 3-of-a-kind game in Link's Awakening usually has something useful behind it, so I'm usually pretty familiar with it. But it's like, if you don't have a pen and paper down, it's kind of hard to note it, because you don't have a club on your keyboard.
We'll have to see as well what our players are using. Perhaps some of them are writing down their passwords. Perhaps some of them are screen capturing. In particular, I know that a lot of players might still have that Jolly viewer that Muir rigged up for the Jolly Mania tournament.
I mean, I came up with I just came up with shorthand for everything and then did it in Notepad. So like I used uncommon characters. Okay, it's not unsolvable yet currently. NSF. You can still. Oh wait, no, you can't fix this because the one you have to freeze in a very different spot.
Yep, this is a double-layered puzzle.
Yeah, and there's good stuff in this dungeon.
I don't remember. Was there checkpoints in the dungeon where it makes a warp or not?
There are a ton of checkpoints in these dungeons.
So that's...
like there's multiple. Like it's crazy.
Because the players have been given the hint that the Hero's Cave is sort of the you need all your tools to solve it dungeon. So they may realize that they want to save it until they've collected one of everything.
Yeah, I believe you have to beat the 6th dungeon to fully clear it. I could be wrong. It could be the 5th dungeon, but or at the very least to get the item that you want, because there's 2 very important things in there. The first one is the dungeon reward, which is the red ring, which is you do double damage, which if you have the level 2 sword is the same as having the power ring level 2, but you don't take the extra damage. But if you have the level 3 sword, it is strictly better in all situations.
Just look at Zenik there. Zenik is, doesn't even try to dodge those traps. He's like, you know what? I'm in gamer speedrun mode. We're just going to damage boost through all of this.
Yeah, okay, so those traps do double damage with Cursed Ring. I'm just realizing that now, because I'm like, oh, that's a lot less damage than I remember taking. Just gonna...
Don't click it, it's probably a virus. Especially since Bright Shadow posted it.
It's just the Oracle of Eggs. He's posted that before, the Legend of Breakfast. And okay, yeah, so Anisep saved Zelda from the Moblin King. That's this doesn't happen on the normal playthrough, but this is what we get instead of a really cool Donkey Kong-esque minigame fight against fire, which is what happens if you do the other way around. So this takes like 2 seconds. Doing it the other way takes a million years. Oh, I feel bad for Zenik. Zenik is like carefully planning this room out, and that's where the chest is gonna get you.
And Zenik's like, what the hell? Where's my box? So, I mean, if I'm Zenik right now and that chest disappears, my thought is going to be, oh no, I bombed too many rocks, or oh no, I have to find another way around this room. Like, I would never connect that to, oh, it disappears if you take too long.
Yeah, I don't know. I connected that immediately. But anyway, so here's the most important part. We got a boxing match. Anisep versus Blano. I don't think I've seen that move from Blano before. Anisep just pushed the button at him a lot. Anisep, fight him!
I think Anisep's assuming that when he's got his fists up, you can't actually punch him. Because, you know, boxers, they're usually, when they have their gloves in front of them, it's because they're blocking. Except for Blano does it because he literally has no arms.
Yeah, this is just... Listen, it's sumo boxing, you got a ring out. I don't think I've ever seen this fight go this way. I've definitely, like, run into him and just gotten punched out immediately, like, as a child. But then I just punched him in the face. There are rings in this game. One of them does an insane amount of damage, expert ring. Oh, Anisep loses!
Anisep says, nope.
Oh no, you gotta do it!
Yeah,
okay, well...
that is a mandatory minigame. You do have to defeat Blano once. I mean, really, it's a Legend of Zelda game. You should assume in most cases that the minigames are mandatory unless stated otherwise.
Yeah, so to the north, this is all wet for Anisep. That's because Anisep has Dimitri.
Yeah, so we've got players here who have all of their different companions. Zenik Reverie has Moosh for a companion. Anisep has Dimitri the Dodongo for a companion. And someone in Hopscotch both have Ricky the Kangaroo as their companions.
Yeah, and, like, having Moosh, like... so, Ages is weird in that, like... Okay, Seasons is weird in that in Ages, even though you get to use Dimitri for, like, 13 seconds before you, like, have to choose him, you still get to use Dimitri before you would hit the point of, I need my animal friend. Moosh is, like, way later into the game. You don't even get to play as Moosh before you get to choose. This game also actually lets you use everything, or requires you to use everything that Dimitri has to offer. Actually, you don't have to pick up Dimitri in this one. You do in Ages. Or he may mention it all. Oh no, he mentions it after you get him, so yeah, I guess nobody ever has to deal with that.
So, see, Zenik is probably one who isn't familiar with Link's Awakening because he didn't immediately pull out bombs when he fought Facade.
It's like, I think Zenik's watched me stream several dumb Link's Awakening things before.
But they are dumb things by Alpha, so...
Oh, when I fight Facade, it's usually, you know... Oh god, the worst one was Cravone's ROM hack, where you had to shoot the tiles out of the air with bomb arrows so they would explode over his face, because they just replaced his face with a pit. So you couldn't actually lay bombs on his hitbox.
Perfect.
It was great. Listen, there's a lot of fun ways to fight Facade. There was the randomizer we did on this channel for the racial justice thing, where we didn't turn off barriers and we literally couldn't beat the boss.
This is Mystery Funhouse, the land of bad decision making.
Some good times.
Alright, looks like Anisep is reluctantly going back to Blano's gym.
Yeah, you gotta earn it in the ring.
For 10 rupees per attempt.
No rings, only fists. He says no rings because there are rings that reduce your knockback. Just punch him! Just keep punching him!
So the good news is someone is going to turn in the creepy doll for a well-seasoned pot. And then we have a surprise here. We've got Queen Ambi has traveled through time, and she's now hanging out in Holodrum as sort of a side quest.
yeah, the story goes, basically, because she went through a series of, you know, incredibly, terrifying and shocking events, Naru just sent her on a vacation through time and space to, you know, get over it.
Yeah, so regardless of which one you play, there's like a little side story that you do for that links the two games. When you do this one, where it's ages to seasons, it's Queen Ambi goes on a journey, and we're gonna as we play through, we're gonna learn about Queen Ambi. If you do it the other way, it's Rosa the Subrosian, and she's going on like a holiday in Labrina for no good reason, and like it's really just not interesting.
It's not. All she does is badmouth everything.
Yeah, it's true. We're going to get conclusion to Queen Ambi's story. Someone also has another bonus here. So someone has because someone picked Ricky as his companion. Ricky is sticking with him. He got Ricky's flute, and Ricky's just going to stay with him continuously through this game, which is a little bit nice because there's a little bit of a cruel trick involved here. When you go into the house for the woman who wants the creepy doll, if you don't have Ricky's flute, it actually resets his flag, and he disappears, and you have to go all the way back and get him.
I don't think it does that all the time. I think if you have them on the same screen. Okay, so I'm seeing Zenic fight the Dodongo and not picking up the Dodongo, just throwing the bomb into his belly.
Well, to be fair, that's a really a new thing, because most Zelda games are just pick, throw the bomb in it and that's good enough. All right, there's
Try slashing him.
Yeah,
there we go.
There's that satisfying noise that says
it's
you did
such
damage.
a great sprite. Just the fat bloated Dodongo.
Well, maybe that's the sprite Anisep was talking about.
Oh yeah, it's a good sprite. And we can see someone opening the floodgates. Anisep is just lost, trying to figure out how to defeat Blano, which is you just push the button in his face a lot, and you win.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate too, because Anisep is pretty much leading in this race until that happened.
Yeah, Anisep, all you gotta do is push the button, and then we're moving on to the goal, coming up pretty soon. But Gold Dungeon's not the biggest pushover. It's definitely the longest one in this goal.
Yeah, although we're not quite there yet. Someone is just literally standing outside of the entrance of the dungeon, but can't get into it. Does not have the ability to climb up the sheer rock face that separates him from that victory.
And actually, because someone's on this screen, and I find that silly, we'll need Ricky to complete this area, but for everybody else, because Ricky leaves, they're gonna have an extra fight to do. Everybody who has Ricky, I guess. Okay, Anisep, just push the button. Push the button.
So
just punch him.
Anisep thought that maybe he'd be clever and he'd get out a scent seed and he'd use that to cheat. Blano's like, no, you cheated, the game is over, and now you pay double because you're a cheater.
You're not an outboxer. Your arms are shorter than his. It won't work. You just gotta get in there and rush.
I think Anisep may be under the assumption that you can only punch Blano when he's winding up, because that seems like the only time he's ever successfully hitting him. Oh, it's close. All right, Anisep gets it. There we go.
All right, that's very important. So we are trying to get a brand new element. The world doesn't work when it's just cold. We need something else.
Yeah, and it's really a shitty way to start off this game that the very first item they give you is the thing that just makes every level an ice level.
Yeah. But we gotta go on a date. Let's see. Let's see what item. Because talking to Subrosions does it. I think someone is familiar with this side quest. I believe has said that they weren't totally blind.
Possibly. I think this is just random. I think you just have to keep digging.
I don't know if it's random. I'm pretty sure it's on a specific screen, because I always go there and get it. There we go.
There it is.
Maybe it is random.
So, Anisep here, there's a little house. Does Anisep go in the house, or does Anisep go up the cliff? Looks like Anisep's just going to go up the cliff here.
Yeah, so
since Anisep's animal companion is not Ricky, Ricky's like, peace out.
in fairness, if Anisep remembers the answer to the trading sequence, and I say that because you don't need to do the trading sequence to get the trading sequence reward. Yeah, it's a unique thing in this Zelda game. You can just do it if you know the answer to the puzzle.
I think there's some other Zelda games where that might be true.
Maybe.
Like crossing the desert, if you remember in Ocarina of Time, if you know the path to take, you don't need the Eye of Truth, even though it's like
right.
impossible.
But I was talking about a trading sequence specifically.
Well, I mean, in Link's Awakening, you skip the trading sequence by just cheating the game by listening to Link's grunts.
Well, no. So the new version, they've changed that. Now you don't even have to listen to Link's grunts. They decided that you're allowed to make that save and maintain it, because otherwise it's dumb. Because otherwise it takes 2 minutes in between runs, so people just like copy. They have to close the game and reset it so it doesn't do like preloading stuff. It's a whole to do with the remake of Link's Awakening. It's much easier in the original one where you just left up, right up, left up.
Someone is traded a star ore for a ribbon and gave the ribbon to Rosa, and Rosa's all like, sweet, let's go on a date. We're going to go to the temple. Because that's totally what people do on dates, is they explore ancient sunken temples dedicated to pagan spirits.
She's a popular girl, and very similar to Smurfette, the only female.
Is she the only female, or is it just the only one who displays, like, external gendered traits?
I feel like everybody else... Like, if you talk to everybody with Rosa, they're like, I'm jealous, like, the whole time.
I mean,
maybe.
The game never goes into any details on, like, Subrosian, you know, like Subrosian mating habits. Like, maybe they're all, like, they reproduce asexually, and so, you know, the whole thing is just arbitrary.
I guess that could be possible. But...
So Rosa
I'm pretty sure we have a Smurfette situation on our hands.
There's a good chance of that. So Rosa has this cool key, and you probably noticed that first thing, because it's the most obvious thing about her, other than this ribbon. She's got this key hanging off of her hip, and it's a magical skeleton key, but she's also kind of a jerk, and she won't let you borrow it, because this game would go way faster if you just had this skeleton key to unlock everything.
Yeah, but Rob Seasons has been blessed with a summer day. Damn, I'm already seeing Zenik running around. Okay, no, Zenik's back in Ages. I'm not sure what Zenik is looking for. Zenik forgot how to swim in Ages.
Yeah, that is a thing, that they remember the nightmare that is, when they...
That is the mermaid suit. Okay, so Anisette, as you can see, this is where anybody who doesn't have Ricky will get their animal companion. You gotta pay them. And now they're rich, and they leave. And that's great. But now you have Dimitri. And Dimitri is fast. It's a Dodongo with a broken horn. And there are two things that make Dimitri fast. One, unbelievably fast in the water. Two, Dimitri lets you sequence break. It's got the fastest overworld movement in the game. Like, by a large amount. And he can also one-shot basically every enemy by pushing a button.
Yeah, that's like Alpha said. The other players won't find Dimitri there. Although there is a sort of a balance that they make you pay a lot of money to rescue Dimitri there.
It's like, Xenix's gonna find Moosh there.
Yeah,
Because you have to be able to have access to your animal companion before, or after Poison Moth's lair.
Yeah, Moosh shows up a lot too. Like there's more than one Moosh appearance in this.
I thought it was just the one you get.
It's here, and then there's also when you're climbing the mountain.
Oh, right. Well, no, because you have to be able to ride him to, like, the animal area. I don't know if... I don't remember, because that was only my very, very first linked clear. I did the Moosh thing. Because, like, with Ricky, you come from the top here. With Dimitri, you come from the bottom, because you've lost Ricky. I don't remember what you do with Moosh. Or maybe you rescue Dimitri there, and you get Dimitri, and you do that. I don't remember.
Hopscotch
But you don't get Moosh.
Here. Alright, maybe Hopscotch is going to do it this time. Uh-oh. Hopscotch trying to do this really fast, realizes that the explosion doesn't count if you're just holding it.
Zedek is collecting cash and rings.
Zedek got a potion for that one. You can't take it between games, but okay.
If you could, that'd be nice. Maybe I was hoping for a ring.
Alright, round 3. Hopscotch versus the treasure box.
Hopscotch, pull the bomb out sooner.
He did that, and it screwed the crap out of him.
I feel like that's a Hopscotch problem.
There's a long list of Hopscotch problems. Most of them in the Super Monkey Ball clones for the PlayStation 2.
Well, got it. It was slow, but he made it.
Yeah, the margin of error on that one is pretty wide. Like I've done that several times, and I never knew that chest disappears.
Oh yeah, I can't remember Infernal Translator. Is there a way to cheat the Fool's Ore out of that area? I think there is. But I never bothered doing that because it's stupid, and I also don't remember if it can harm the final boss because he has weird flags.
So you don't have any Oracle of Seasons, games that they've made some Kaizo hacks for it. I think you could especially probably do some fun stuff with that using the passwords between games, like.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's used the I don't think anybody's made any Oracle of Seasons ROM hacks.
So that'd be pretty sweet. Like you have to create a linked game and it makes you keep jumping between the games to enter passwords for stupid things.
That's probably way more effort than it's worth because of how the passwords are all generated.
Put in passwords and they'll give you one ore chunk.
Oh no. That would be horrible. Alright, well. Someone can defeat all of these Polsvoys without using any bombs. But has never read the Zelda 1 manual.
And that's a big deal too, because that's the only line that Link speaks over like the first 3 Zelda games is just that one line of, "Hey, read the manual for details."
Yeah, that sounds right.
Alright,
also didn't do the upgraded bomb bag trade. Yeah, so it's not on any of those screens.
Yep, Anisep is strip mining Subrosia now.
Did Anisep have it? 3 peaches, trade for 10 ore chunks. Rare peach for 20 ore chunks and 10 ember seeds. Easy.
Anisep hasn't actually equipped the Pegasus seed. Or Pegasus ring. That's unfortunate. You can't get any value out of it if you don't equip it.
Okay, we see Zenik in Hero's Path.
Zenik really wants to just scoot around that corner and make that work.
Yeah, there are pushable blocks in this room that you have to use to get through this part.
Although Zenik may just assume that, oh, the Rod of Stupid Samaria is probably in this game too. But it's not.
No. No, instead you get a better item. Called the Magnet Gloves. Which that's a Switch Hook replacement, but I love the Magnet Gloves.
Magnet Gloves are the best Zelda item. Maybe the Beyblade is better, but...
The spinner's pretty good.
So we'll see if Anisep finds the star-shaped ore on the same screen as the other players do. But he's currently converting this beach into a strip mine.
So, if you're familiar with Link's Awakening, and you've seen these guys, it's really threatening because in Link's Awakening they do 3 hearts of damage. They do not do that much damage in this one.
Anisep's trying to do this logically, like figure out which is the correct spot for hiding this ore, but you really can't do that. You just have to dig everything. And we've got the most broken Zelda item of all, the feather.
Yeah, much less broken in this one. What are you using bombs? Okay, I guess I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah, it really wants to dig that one little tile in the corner.
You just gotta dig. Everybody tells you it's on the beach somewhere, so just go find it. It's easy.
I think it might even be a hint that that one guy down on the screen below is like, oh man, I bet there's a star ore here, but I'm just gonna stand around like a piece of shit because I don't have a shovel.
Probably. I think there's like... It's like one of X number of places. Yeah, that guy just told you where it was.
That's a lot of sand. That's a lot of digging to be doing. This is a race. Don't have time for that shit.
It's unfortunate that it's very required.
Yeah, it is extremely required. Anisep is going to have to go down to that beach, and it's going to have to dig every single square of sand until that star-shaped ore shows up. Anisep's just going to dig up the grass here because the grass is totally where the right spot is. Yeah, the good news is you're restricted to a pretty small area here. Like, the game does a pretty good job of not letting you wander off into too far.
Yeah, because you literally can't go anywhere else. Like, it's like, okay. But that's not sand, it's dirt. It's different.
I mean, we really aren't explained the ecology of Subrosia. Like, there's this grass growing here. Is there like a Subrosian sun?
I just think, well, it might be there's like a bunch of magma veins up top.
I mean, although I guess it's not really that different than like Journey to the Center of the Earth. It was just like, oh yeah, there's just, I don't know, it's just kind of light down here. Nobody really knows. They just
yeah, I mean, like if there's a bunch of like magma veins, like in the sky, I could see it like being bright.
Zenik is wandered into another area here. He's going to head north here, and there's this mysterious castle, and suddenly the screen's going to do this wavy shit, and then he gets blown away by evil powers of darkness. Anisep really wants to dig that little corner, because he's convinced that has to be the correct spot. Dig the whole
screen. Just dig everything. Stop not digging everything.
Anisep's gonna dig this screen again. No, wait. You already dug this screen. Dig a new screen, Anisep. Dig a different screen.
Stop not doing what the game told you to do. You did it except for the places you needed to. I can understand wanting to dig out this screen, because the guy says it's around here. And then you dug this screen!
Yeah, this guy saying it's somewhere around here, that kind of throws you off. There are actually other guys... Or no, this guy doesn't say it. No, I guess he needs to go look for the guy who says it's near here. Because there's other NPCs in this area who are the same way. They're like, oh man, I bet you there's some good ore around here. And they're hinting to you that one of those squares in that screen you dig it's going to give you a bunch of ore chunks.
Just keep digging. There's, like, only so much desert, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Beach.
It's not, like, random. I wondered if it was, like, digging minigame in Zelda 3, where it's just, you dig 100 times and you find it.
No, it's like, I think there's, like, 6 or 7 spots it can be, like, total. And I think they manip which one it is when they do the run. Or they just dig all 7 because it's a pain to maintain the manip or something like that. One of the two.
Oh, Anisep's saving and quitting here. Not sure what that's about. Oh, maybe Anisep's switching games here? Yep, Anisep's gonna pop over to Oracle of Ages. He's fucking shit of this. He's tired of this, Oracle of Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna go play a game he knows how to beat. Did Link's Awakening have a puzzle where you had to push the pots, or was that only in this game, in the season?
You can't push pots in Link's Awakening.
Okay, yeah. So we've got the puzzle here for someone that you've got to push the pots onto the switch. Except for it gets grabbed by a wall master, or I guess a floor master, and gets to start the dungeon over. Anisep is going to go seek out Tingle, the wise man on top of the hill, and maybe get some guidance. Now, it's been a month since he's played this game, so he's like, there's a switch. How do I hit the switch? What do I do?
Speed shooter. There you go.
So Zenik has got Ricky. Of course, this is not his permanent companion. Zenik is on Team Moosh. Now, there's not as many puzzles in Oracle of Seasons, but there are some puzzles. This is one of those puzzles. Oh, here we go. Someone figuring this out pretty quick.
It's cozy puzzle. Hey, you have the shovel, so you know you can just defeat these spike beetles. The shovel in this game. Don't know why. I think I may have at one point someone said that the clank is the same properties as the shield.
Ooh, that's true. Some of the players might have a shield now. You do have to go to the shop and buy one, I think. So I don't think Zenik has the creepy doll. So he can't trade it, and I think when he steps out of this door, he's... Oh, nope, Ricky's still there. Okay.
Yeah, Ricky stays.
Oh, but Zenik's wandering away. Zenik is completely unimpressed by Ricky. He's still on Team Moosh, and so he's just going to wander off. Who cares about Ricky?
Who knows if Ricky will still be there?
Alright, Anisep is in the middle of the forest. Oh, he's in the past. That's why he's thrown off. And he's just going to teleport to the present inside of a tree, becoming imprisoned for all eternity. Future generations will find Anisep imprisoned in amber, and they'll attempt to clone dinosaurs from him.
Digging down for ore chunks, digging down for more chunks.
Yeah, there's a ring you can get if you collect like 10,000 ore chunks or something really stupid. And, you know, I collected that ring. You get your shovel, you get your double ore chunks ring on.
I think I remember that ring. It's also the one where you destroy 100 signs, which I hope someone goes for.
The 100, yeah, the 100 signs ring, that's pretty good. It's not that hard to get either, because if you get a level 2 sword and you find a sign near a screen transition like this one
There's
right
a
here.
sign literally outside of his house right next to a screen transition, and it maybe takes, like, even if you just have the power bracelet, like, 2 minutes. Like, it's not even that big of a deal, and it's just so stupid.
I think Anisep got his password traded in, so I think Anisep's going back to the land of the seasons. Solve this impossible puzzle. We're back here in Oracle of Seasons with Anisep. Anisep is now once again confronted with the unfortunate, uncomfortable reality that he does have to solve a puzzle.
We have to raid Anisep after this. I just want everybody to post the YouTube link to the Pocahontas digging song. That may be cruel, but I think it's appropriate.
I'm hopeful that Anisep is going to solve it more quickly than that.
Dig, 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 dig.
Alright, Anisep's moving towards the beach. He's getting warmer, even warmer. He's gonna stab the crap out of this Subrosion. Alright, here we are. We're on the screen. He really wants to dig this top left corner.
Stop digging there!
There it is. Oh my god, it's a star-shaped door. He's immediately done with digging for all eternity.
Funny, it's this exact same spot that it was for someone.
Alright, it's Rosa date time. So is this seashore here? Do we think that this is actual water, or is this more magma?
It could be a bunch of water that, like, if they're, like, say they're in an iron deposit, it's just rust red.
Yeah, that could be.
Because, like, that would explain, like, maybe they're in this, like, weird, like, you know, the ceiling is just glowing iron. Everything is just they're in, like, some iron basin somewhere. Who knows?
You know, I think the thing we're missing, we've got the Zelda compendium that gives you the Zelda timeline, but you know what we really need? We need the Zelda map that, like, connects all of these different Zelda realms.
Well, so this one, I don't even know how you would draw that, because the Triforce is just like, hey, look, you're going somewhere, bye, and just teleports Link. And that could be anywhere.
Yeah, that's why you have to put it into an official book. As long as it's a hardcover book that you pay at least $60 for, it's official no matter where you put it.
They weren't $60, they were like 30. Anyway, someone defeating the mini-boss.
Here's Zenik meeting Moosh for the first time.
Yeah. They're gonna get their revenge.
Ooh, Hopscotch is switching rings. What ring is Hopscotch gonna take along with him now?
I don't think Hopscotch knows that.
Yeah, Hopscotch only has a level 1 power ring, doesn't have the level 2 power ring.
You can get the level 2 power ring and the level 3 power ring in seasons, though.
I thought Seasons was the one that you were more likely to get the defense rings.
No, you can get the power ring. Level 2 power ring is in both. The level 3 is only in seasons. Defense ring is in ages, because, you know, defense is blue and attack is red.
Oh, Hopscotch has discovered the ultimate fate of Bipsum. His Bipsum is named Nico, and he's decided to also become a Gasha tree farmer.
I could imagine you doing that. That seemed soon. I thought it was longer than that. Maybe not.
No, it's not really. There's the Oracle of Seasons. When you're in the linked game, there's not a whole lot to it.
Alright, here's the chest. What's in the chest? It's a bunch of rupees. And I guess everybody's just gonna ignore the fact that this child grew up in the span of like a day and a half.
Yeah, I think that was the plot of one of Lovecraft's books. Was this child who grows up way too fast? It's like obviously the devil.
Yeah, I'm like, this is a demon child. Lovecraft having some interesting stories behind his books.
Someone running away with this race, already in dungeon number 3, making a lot of progress here. I don't think any of the other players have even made it to dungeon 3 yet.
Nighty's in it, making the mistake of not jumping over the switch, but trying to pace his boots past the switch and jumping for dear life. Nighty, just jump over the switch. Okay, Nighty figured it out.
So Anisep finding here that Feor has a list of all the secrets that you found, just in case you've forgotten any of them. So this also serves as a good indicator of how many secrets are left to discover.
Yeah, so here we go. It's Mothula.
So at 7 hearts here, someone has way more health than you would have in a normal game. Not that that really seems to matter, because someone defeated that boss pretty handily.
And there we go. Big old bright sun, an essence of nature.
Yep, so Link has literally acquired the sun. He's going to take that sun and shove it into his bag.
And it makes a tree bigger. So far we've gotten time, fertile soil, and the sun. All things needed to make trees grow. Because all we're trying to do is grow a big tree, and that's it. That's all we're doing, is growing a big tree. This game is about farming. It's not about combat.
So this is just the Harvest Moon sequel?
Sure.
Alright, Zennik's turn. Is Zennik going to be able to figure out how to dig up an ore? Yeah, Tingle definitely has some expertise in growing things, although Tingle's better at growing towers than he is at growing trees.
Yeah, but he just solves that problem with money. The easiest way to solve any problem. More money.
Money does solve a lot of problems. So we pulled up 90. 90 is our 5th racer in today's race. We had a total of 5 people here. And we can see Nighty is in a very good spot here to finish up in second place in this race. And he's pushing blocks here. I think he's trying to do this. This is a really common thing you see in games that have push blocks, where you push one block, you push the block next to it, and then you can push the block in the middle vertically. But that's not what's going on here. Nighty does, in fact, just need to push a block into the pit, which it's kind of almost as like a cardinal sin for a Zelda game, because most Zelda games don't let you push the blocks into pits. There we go. Nighty, long last, pushes the only block he hasn't pushed.
Okay. Zenik is looking for where this could be, and is just digging the map out.
Yeah, Zenik is going for the just dig every spot once solution, which I think is going to give him the answer very quickly here and give him a little bit of time to catch up with Anisep. He digs up that spot, and a giant flaming creature emerges, and Zenik's like, whatever.
Yeah, so Zenik has one of the different spawn locations. It's not 100% random, but there are like X number of them that make sense.
There it is, a star-shaped ore for Zenik that he can trade, and then he's going to keep digging because he still wants to see maybe there's something else there. Maybe
he might just want more ore chunks.
Yeah, maybe he can get an octagonal ore chunk, or he can get like a bird-shaped ore chunk.
Listen, you gotta dig down for more chunks.
That's probably got to be a thing in the land of Subrosia. You know, like how people take photos of funny-looking Cheetos. There's got to be like getting really crazy-shaped ore chunks and be like, oh man, this one looks like a Dodongo.
Yeah, probably.
Boss time for Nighty. And Nighty immediately plunges into the hole. He was really hoping that he could just like jump down here and then pass through the wall, like just glitch through the wall and just get to the essence and not have to deal with everything else. Easy fight there for Nighty. He just gets up into that moss face and whacks it with the sword, especially if he's got his level 2 power sword. He's going to be doing just fine. Nighty's going to hit the dot done with an SRL time of 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 6 seconds. So less than 5 minutes here behind someone. Not too shabby, especially given that there's a lot of times to lose, a lot of opportunities to lose time here, either getting tricked by some of the progression, or spending more time dipping back into ages to get passwords.
I think he's definitely on good pace as we're seeing everybody slowly approaching. Entering D3, Anisep's going to be entering there soon. And Zenik shouldn't be that far behind. He's about to pick up the Power of Summer, and I don't know where Hopscotch is. Hopscotch is,
It's like Hopscotch
I think very far back.
Hopscotch has gone back to Din's house.
Yeah, which... So Zelda's there. Zelda lives in, with Impa the entire time. And that... Zelda refills all your health, and is kind of very convenient in seasons, just because the location works out very well for you.
Right. Yeah, you do spend a lot of time heading back to Holodrum Town, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So, like, if you're ever... Because there are some areas in this game that, unlike Ages, because you can sort of be anywhere at any time, or underwater and there's not really enemies there, there are some enemies in this game that do a lot of damage. I think one enemy can do up to 4 hearts.
Although our players are going to have the advantage of having some extra heart containers because we're playing this as a linked game.
Yeah, but if you run into the wrong enemy with 4 hearts of damage, that's gonna hurt.
I mean, even if it's the right enemy, 4 hearts of damage is enough that it's a problem.
Yeah, well, I say it's wrong because it's the quest for the Red Ring, and it's super specific that they run into that enemy with that much. And Zenik not trading for the upgraded bomb bag. Hopscotch is now fighting Blano. Hopscotch, just punch him in the face. Get him!
Now,
I've never seen Blano look a direction other than left or right before. I don't know what's going on.
Now,
I've literally never seen it.
I found this a little bit tricky as well. The Blano fight is not that easy, especially because Link's, like, his arms are incredibly short.
Yeah, but, like, you just listen, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And so all you gotta do is punch him in the face. It's not that complicated.
So it looks like Zenik is still digging. He's decided that even though Rosa is interested in going on this date, he thinks that the cool date they're going to go on is a dig up the beach sort of date. Which is the sort of date like when you're 10. That's the sort of thing like, oh man, let's dig a tunnel to China here on the beach. And they're all like, oh man, that sounds so fun. Let's do that. And you get out your little plastic shovel, you know, and your little plastic bucket that you got for $1 at the dollar store. And you dig a giant hole, and then you don't manage to get to China, but you do, like, some guy twists his ankle because he stumbles into it while he's walking across the beach. But it's still a lot of fun. Good kind of memories to have with somebody. So I think this is a good way for Zenik to show how much he really does care about Rosa. You're having some trouble thinking about how to respond to that, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm just like, do I even want to bother? He's just getting his Orchugs for the red bomb. Big bomb bag. It's super useful to have 30 bombs instead of 10.
Oh yeah, it's a huge improvement, especially because you're going to use bombs for so many things here.
Yeah, this game makes you use items other than the seed shooter. There's no seed shooter in this game.
I mean, the slingshot is kind of.
It's so much better because it can't bank shots.
Yeah, that is obnoxious. That when you fire the seed shooter and it just ricochets for half an hour while you're like, no, I just want to shoot again, please.
Okay, Zenik is slashing that so Moosh can jump across. Why didn't you just body slam? You got an attack on Moosh. It's got range.
I mean, Moosh's bottom is probably pretty soft from all of that toilet paper that he's been marketing.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of strange advertisements with the Charmin Bear.
It's one of those things that you don't really think about how weird it is to be talking about things you use to wipe your butt.
I mean, no, it's just like there's one of them. This is just like, look, my ass is clean after using toilet paper. And I'm like, why is this an ad?
Yeah,
it's like heavily implying that you can't clean yourself unless you use Charmin toilet paper.
I mean, but then again, you have to think about the average American, that maybe that is sort of an issue that we sort of take for granted.
I don't want to think about that.
So completing this room, it's got these. This is like designed to be a really just the shittiest of Zelda rooms. You've got this spike trap whirling around the screen at way too fast a speed. You've got these mimics that are they wander around randomly on these conveyor belts. It's like that's the sort of shit that you'd expect to see Alpha running through in a Kaizo ROM hack. And here Nintendo's like, yeah, this is an acceptable design for a room. Go ahead and slap that Nintendo seal of quality on it. That's fine.
It's fine. What's wrong with this room?
Because you have to complete it to get the feather, and the feather's the only thing that makes that even reasonable, because the feather lets you skip all of those stupid conveyor belts.
So, first off, I'll reveal the actual strat. If you just walk into the room and hold left the whole time, so all of the mimics walk into the right wall, then they'll all stack. And you can just wait for them to come around and spin slash them, and they'll just die. It's a really easy room if you think about it.
Yeah, that requires you to stop and think, and I think most of our players...
I don't even need to think to do that, man. You just gotta play enough Zelda games.
I think all of our players are still on the I just want to run at things and slash at them. And except discovering that Link, even though Link can jump higher than his own body height, it's still not enough to get you up to that next ledge. I mean, how tall do we think that Link is? Do we think that he's like maybe 5 feet tall? Like maybe he's pretty short? Because still, being able to jump 5 feet into the air, that's a pretty impressive leap. Are you looking up Link's height now on the internet?
No, Link, well, it depends. If it's young Link, like, it's like the same thing as just, like, I think, like, adult Link's, like, 5'7" or something like that. Like, it's, you know, your standard or slightly above average Japanese male height. Like, Goku's 5'10". And it's like, yeah, he's a giant compared to everybody else in, like, the portrayed media. But young Link's, like, I don't know, short. Compare him to Mario. Mario's, like, 4'11". They're the same height in Smash Bros. But also so is Ridley, and Ridley's a giant space dragon.
No, Ridley can't be in Smash. He's too big.
Yeah, that's true. That's my favorite thing about Ridley's race is that they, like, you know how in Metroid they have all, like, these ridiculous names for things, although I'm slowly convinced that Kraid's race is also Kraid. But is that they all have ridiculous names, and what is Ridley? Ridley's just a space dragon. That's the name of his race.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with being...
I know, but it's like the only thing in the whole series that doesn't have some ridiculous, like, or like some, like, high fantasy name or something like that. It's like, nah, he's a space dragon. It's just great.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a Zelda game that's gonna change that, and we're gonna get the whole backstory on Ridley. Like, you know, he killed Samus's parents, but, you know, well, it turns out Samus's parents were hunting down the space dragons for their space dragon magic.
No, they already no, that's already in it. The Galactic Federation did that way earlier than that. Ridley's like one of the last space dragons.
On the other
they already
hand,
hunted them because they saw the same threat in the Metroids as them, except they were intelligent and couldn't be controlled.
Yeah, but on the other hand, like, Ridley just doesn't die. Like, you shoot him with missiles until he explodes, and he just shows up in the next game. He's like, yeah, I'm fine, whatever.
Well, I mean, in theory, so you went Metroid 1, and then you went into Metroid Prime,
Okay.
where he's all mechanical. And then, I think it was Prime 2, and then 3, and then Return of Samus, where, you know, he's still on a bunch of bionics, and then he's fully recovered in Super Metroid, but then you explode him.
Hold on. So he doesn't show up in Metroid Prime 2. In Metroid Prime 3, he gets possessed by Phazon and turns into, like, a Giga Dark space dragon.
Yeah, and then he explodes entirely, but then they bring him back again.
Right. And then in Super Metroid, he's just like, he shows up and he just looks normal.
Yeah. And then in Fusion, I think it's implied that that's a clone, because that's the second clone they made other than Other M, because they apparently enjoy cloning Ridleys.
Yeah, so Other M comes next, and in Other M, he's a little baby, and then he grows up.
Yeah, but that's a separate Ridley, so it's fine. Unless they got, like, you know, the kind of DNA that stores your memory in single cells. In which case, then it's just actually Ridley again.
So are there two Ridleys then? Because then we've got...
I think that Ridley in Other M is a different Ridley. Because that's a clone. Like, the whole bottle ship thing was cloning things, which is the exact same thing they were doing in Fusion, only, you know... Actually, no, it was the bottle ship is the exact same thing as the BSL station. except it just doesn't get infested with X parasites.
So
And also
fusion,
has
fusion
fancy-
is the easiest one to explain because it could just be Ridley's corpse just on ice.
Yeah, no, it absolutely could be, but that one I think it's just another clone. Like the Galactic Federation is trying to clone Metroids and Space Dragons for their own nefarious purposes.
So anyway, that's where we currently are with our Metroid race. But unfortunately, we're not streaming that. We're actually streaming Zelda right now. I feel like Zelda might not have as interesting. Zenith getting crushed by the roller. We get to see that cute little sprite of Link getting smushed.
Yeah, well, what does Zelda have less of an interesting of?
Not as interesting of lore. Like Zelda, they try to explain everything. Zelda's issue is they explain the crap out of everything, and that the only real confusion is over the fact that it all contradicts each other. Whereas Metroid, you're just making out that lore as you go along.
Yeah, I mean the big issue with at least Zelda, what they kind of answered, was that, like, what is Ganondorf? And the answer is he's a dude who hijacked Demise's resurrection cycle.
See,
but
that's weird.
I know it's weird, but it's like, it's a god literally cursed a dude for, like, he's like, well, I guess, you know, the soul of the hero is cursed forever to constantly get back up because we can't kill this man forever right now. Okay, I was really concerned with Zenith solving that, but then he decided to solve it in a much more complicated way. I'm like, oh, okay, that works, I guess.
Yeah, he's got it. Alright, Anicep's working through all the different items that he could possibly use here. Seeds aren't doing it. Yeah, this is a really confusing design for a mini-boss. Because you'd think that, oh, well, I'm going to use whatever the recent item is. I just got a feather, so these guys must be vulnerable to feather. No, you got to actually go back to that power bracelet you got in the previous dungeon.
Yeah, I don't know why. Either something tells you to do that, or I just did it. I have no idea why I know that it was that.
You just have to figure it out.
The other thing I think about it every time is it's just like, every time I see them, like, I want to use the magnet, like, gloves on them, because they're the right color blue.
There's an owl statue that tells you, okay.
Let's look up, it's probably an owl statue somewhere.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that I can totally understand that if you didn't get it into your mind that you can pick them up, it's not a thing you'd think of, because you can't just pick up random enemies in this game. I mean, how would Zelda be different if, like, you just walk up and you just, like, pick up everything? Oh, there's a moblin. You just pick up that moblin and you throw it. Oh, that's a Moldorm. You just pick up Moldorm and you throw them. Be a very different game.
See Hopscotch trying to find his star, is dug aimlessly in random spots, not really checking too hard.
Well, I think he's still in I haven't explored the beach yet, so maybe there's a hint. And if you've played other Zelda games, you may be under the assumption it's just totally random. Yeah, I feel like the logical thought is that, well, it's going to obviously be in a location that gives you a hint, because you think, oh man, there's no way it's going to make me dig every square of this beach to find this sword.
Yeah, it's not that much beach. It's fine.
It really isn't. But this one Subrosian, he's pretty explicit. Oh man, it's somewhere around here in the sands. And you think, oh, well, obviously he's narrowing it down. Instead of 6 screens, I only need to explore 1 screen. Well, unfortunately.
Haha.
There's the owl. The owl says, in water it's invincible. So that's your hint.
That's a good enough hint.
Alright, Hopscotch is going for dig everything. That's the strategy. Alright, Anisep. Oh, Anisep figures it out.
Alright.
Now, when I'm playing this, an issue I always have is that I always want the feather on one of my buttons, and so I get into a bad habit of that every single time I open up my menu. If I'm not currently equipped with the feather, I put it back on.
You gotta play game. You gotta play some randos so you constantly don't have feather when you need it. There's a lot of things I know how to do because I always make the wrong choice and go places where there's not feather, because that's all you need to do 90% of the tricks in Link's Awakening is feather. Although I still think the worst seed I've ever had started me with flippers, feather, and power bracelet. Oh no, sorry, it was hookshot, bracelet, power bracelet, and flippers, which meant the entire overworld was open to me, but I could go everywhere, but I had nothing to do anything with.
Yeah, I wonder why they kept it as Link's Awakening. It seems like they should have renamed it to the Feather of Flying. The Feather of Jumping through
probably.
Walls.
I mean, well, but feather's pretty good. It is a dirty feather, though.
I mean, you don't think that Link, like, washes it off when he goes, like, swimming in the water?
I mean, that... How do we know it's not filled with, like, all the pollutions of the nearby cities?
What nearby
Although
cities?
I believe that the water in Sunken City is probably pretty clean.
I'm not sure what Anisep is doing here.
But yeah, as everybody can see, there's no level sign next to the Power Bracelet, which means we don't get the useless level 2 Power Bracelet upgrade. It's the only thing that I'm glad they've slowly done away with, is Link gets a concussion.
There we go. Anisep...
Maybe Link's immune to concussions.
What other games are there? Link... What other games are there where Link hits his head? I feel like I'm having a flashback to something else where you, like, hit your head in the ceiling and just, like, break your deck. What am I thinking of? Yeah, Link takes some pretty rough spills in a lot of these games, though. I mean, like, there's a lot of games where it's just giant rocks come tumbling down from the hill, like rocks that are twice Link's size, and he just
well, I mean, why do you think he only speaks in grunts? He's been smacked in the head so many times. He can't. It's got that's serious brain damage. All right, he's probably got CTE, and the princess keeps using him to do all his dirty work. It's an abusive relationship, and it needs to stop.
I mean, of course, you do have Spirit Tracks where Zelda has to actually do her own work.
Yeah, because she's dead, or whatever happened there.
Like her spirit is stolen or something like that.
Spirit Tracks is a whole slew of issues that ends up with the final boss being Ganon hijacking a train.
Which is awesome.
It was great, but I also hated every second of it. I just thought it was the laziest thing in the world.
Yeah, I'm also pretty
sure. Come on, give me like body or give me a new villain. Don't have Ganon literally hijack a train.
But I don't think it's Ganon. I think it's like some demon.
You look at it, alright? They gave him a name. It's Ganon, alright? It's either Ganon, like, with a different name because it's been 2 million years, or it's the next thing in the demise cycle. And it's really obvious.
Just because it's a boss at the end of a Zelda game does not automatically make it Ganon.
It's a giant pig that's blue and does the exact same attacks. Ganon literally derailed the plot and hijacked the train. Like, there's too many bad things to say about it. There were other reasons I didn't like Spirit Tracks, but that one's just the stupidest part about that game.
I think Anisette might have a ring equipped that makes enemies drop more hearts. He's getting a lot of hearts from these little guys.
Yeah, I know Zedek is the heart ray god.
Yeah, Zenek's getting a lot of work out of this heart ring.
And this boss is a lot easier when you do damage to him. Half damage is not enough.
Alright, Anisette getting an easy fight there. Here's our third essence. We get a literal sun. Anisette finishing up with an SRL time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 52 seconds. Very well done by Anisette, clearing today's goal. Let's get this swapped over. What are you doing to poor Anisette?
I may have linked him to a certain Pocahontas song.
You really had that prepared for this whole time.
No, I waited for him to finish and I looked it up.
So with his fortified Rod of Seasons, it looks like at this point Hopscotch is ready to go to the third and final dungeon for today's goal. All our players making pretty steady progress here as they go through the game.
And outside of digging, nobody getting horribly lost. Zedek having some problems with this boss.
Yeah, it's not really obvious that you would you'd pick him up with the
yeah, unless you talk to the owl, I guess it's not obvious, but I don't know. Usually when I don't hear the damage confirm sound, I switch to the next item and try it.
I mean, that's basically how you play all Zelda games.
And like, I'd never use the shield here just because I know that it's technically optional. Like, I might not have it.
Alright, he's gonna summon the real cavalry here. He's gonna summon Moosh.
Alright, yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed that tune, because that's an uncommon tune.
And now it's perfectly understandable, because these are a bunch of fish, and Moosh is a bear, and it's getting to that time of year where he needs to start putting on some weight.
Yeah, but Moosh is also deathly afraid of water, which we're gonna get a great scene from Zenek when we go to this first area in the next goal.
Zenek's given a lot of time here for Hopscotch to catch up. Not sure what Zenek is trying to do here with his sword. Oh, wait. Alright, I think he's realized it. Ah, here it is.
There we go.
It feels so bad when you get your sword out and you're all ready to do a great spin attack, and then you accidentally give him a sword poke, and it's like, that's not what I meant to do.
Yeah, it feels kind of bad. I'm liking the strategy of just picking them all up and throwing them so they can't get in your way. Anisette laughing at me, just sending him mine. Pocahontas song. If you're not familiar with it, it's about a man screaming at a lot of people to dig.
And the long, hard fight is over, but Zenik Reverie has triumphed over himself. Not a lot of dungeon left here for Zenik. Does Zenik not want to go up the stairs? Oh, Zenik probably saw a chest that he wants from another room. But he ain't getting it from there. Zenik, a very rare team sword on B. So it looks like Zenik has picked up on the being so close to the boss and needing to get these treasure boxes in order to find the Nightmare Key. Zenik has 2 treasure boxes left listed in the map, so one of them must be the Nightmare Key, but isn't sure which one.
I'm sure you'll find it.
It seems like we've had a lot of players getting caught by the Floor Masters. It seems like it's been an abnormally high amount of people getting grabbed by him.
I usually don't, like, get... okay, this is not gonna work, Hopscotch. Hopscotch.
I did like...
Hopscotch.
I did like the brief pause when Hopscotch was almost there, like, wait, something's wrong.
Hopscotch! Yeah, I do find it straight. Like, sometimes, if I've been caught by them recently, it's because it's faster than saving and quitting. But usually they're mostly a non-threat. In Zelda 1, they're a threat. Because they don't get knocked back, they just keep moving. And if one comes out of a wall and you're in a bad position, you're probably not gonna have a good time.
I like how Zenik keeps trying to push that one block, even though if he could successfully push that block, it would do nothing to help him.
Nope, not at all. We're going places.
What do you think the texture of a Pegasus seed is? Do you think it's actually kind of feathery, like eating one of those seeds?
How would you describe a taste as feather? Like, what would a feathery taste be?
I said texture. Texture. Listen to the words that I'm saying. Maybe it tastes like one of those seeds that's got the little leaf that hangs off of it, so it kind of floats in the wind.
I would think maybe airy or bubbly, or maybe it's just like... Maybe it just has the texture of meth. Maybe these are just giant meth balls, and that's why Link runs so fast.
I mean, he does spend a lot of time drinking blue potions.
Yeah, I mean, Link, it's a known fact that Link is definitely a drug lord. He just drinks and eats everything. It can't be good for you, not even a little bit.
Link is not even nearly as bad on this front as Super Mario is. Super Mario's all like, yeah, I found a mushroom. I'm just gonna eat this. Oh, I found a flower. I'm just gonna eat this.
Hopscotch, you've made the puzzle. You put it in an unsolvable state, and you've made it worse. Please.
Why is he making the first move to immediately make it unsolvable?
Hopscotch! What are you doing?
And there is Zenik Reverie with the dot done, finishing with an SRL time here of 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 16 seconds. Extremely well done by Zenik Reverie. Also, Hopscotch's name isn't on the stream. Let's fix it.
Hopscotch. Hopscotch.
Challenging puzzle.
You can do it.
Oh. We're gonna
You can do it. No, get away! No! Okay, wait, no, you're fine. He's fine, okay. I thought he was gonna leave the room after he did that. Okay, we're fine.
Yeah, if you're gonna play like any video games by Nintendo, I feel like Sokoban it's really just a subgenre of every game. You have to be good at Sokoban to play any Zelda games. Maybe not Mario games. Maybe Mario games.
No, not really Metroid, because you're not really pushing blocks in Metroid. You're mostly just shooting them.
Yeah, that's more of just breaking the blocks. But most RPGs, they manage to work into a block pushing puzzle in there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just the easiest puzzle. You know, you don't need to invest any extra coding or anything. Or not like a terrible amount.
Nice save there for Hopscotch, avoids falling into that hole.
Well, he's gotta fall down there and get a key. It's really, how much money they just shove down your throat in Seasons, I just don't remember.
You get a lot of it, but I think part of it too is you find the old guys who steal your money, so some of it, like, you lose money. Whereas,
yeah, but they charge you so much less. Like, there's just a ton of money.
There's a couple of guys later on who they take some pretty big chunks out of your wallet.
Hopscotch gotta find a small key somewhere.
Was there not a hot small key in that chest you just opened? No.
No, that was like 30 rupees. Or like 100, I don't know. It's a lot of rupees.
Anyway, while we're watching Hopscotch try to wrap this up as our last player, do want to remind everybody that this is going to be our last segmented race for the year, and the reason for that is because starting in November, we've got Mystery Tournament 16 is going to be starting up. That's the real excitement here in the Mystery Funhouse community, where we're going to have non-stop races from all sorts of games, from all sorts of genres. Every stream is going to be something completely new and off the wall, and the players aren't even going to know what's coming up. If you haven't done so already, absolutely make sure you get signed up for Mystery Tournament 16. Mystery Tournament 16 is also a little bit of a bonus. If you've never joined a Mystery Tournament before, new players are not even required to submit game suggestions. All you gotta do is enter, and if you're a new player, you're in. That's it. There's no extra effort, which is nice because not everybody has the intuition to find fun games about the coolest little submarine that shoots all the jealous submarines, or can find a original Sokoban clone but written in a clumsy puzzle script language to make it even more inscrutable than the normal Sokoban game. So absolutely make sure that you sign up for Mystery Tournament 16. Signups end on October 14th, I want to say, and the games start on November 1st. No, something's wrong there. Are signups closed already?
No, they're not. They're closed on the 12th.
The 12th of November. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. 12th of November is when signups close, and December is when we start racing. So other than me being completely wrong, everything else was right. I wonder how these rolling devices work, because they're obviously off-balanced in some way that they always want to roll back to the left. But I don't know how you'd actually do that.
Hopscotch has found the small key door.
Well, it's found
small key. He's got to remember where the small key door was. His current problem. Play the flute! Play the flute! Yeah! Look, everybody! That's how you defeat Pole's voice! I'm proud of Hopscotch.
Yeah, but a self-rolling wheel, it's incumbent on you putting it in the right spot to make it roll, isn't it? Because ultimately it's weighted towards one side and it just wants to rest there. And if you start it in the wrong spot, it's just going to want to sit and rest. I don't know. Maybe this is a thing we have to experiment with. We have to start constructing all of the things in the Legend of Zelda games. It could be fun. It could be like a Mythbusters, but it's exclusively for video game things. What are you doing, Alpha?
I don't know, I was rolling some dice.
It's just a random ass thing you do.
I had a bunch of dice next to me, so I was rolling them.
I'm gonna have you know that there's also a set of dice within my hand reach here, and I'm resisting the urge to just roll them while on screen.
Yeah, but I rolled a lot of 7s. These are a bunch of d20s, too. So we only got so much of this race left. Hopscotch's gotta find the feather door again. And then he's gotta get the feather, and he's gotta defeat some squids.
Yeah, this is pretty close here. This is gonna be the most dungeons we're gonna do in one goal. Next goal is gonna be a little bit shorter. We're just gonna do dungeons 4 and 5. Although I think that'll probably be the longest of the goals that we have to deal with.
Which one?
Dungeons 4 and 5.
I think 6 and 7 might be longer, but maybe not. 4 and 5 is a pretty long one, though.
And Zenik making his comment in the chat. The secrets are okay. Of course, the early goals have pretty plain Jane secrets. We're gonna get some more fun secrets in the later goals.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I think 5 and 6 might be the longest one, because it's loaded with secrets.
Hops getting out his kangaroo mating call here, and he plays that, and immediately the Pole's voice say, "Uh-oh, we're getting out of here."
Yeah, it is true in Zelda 1. You can defeat them with the flute.
Well, no, it's true in Zelda 1 if you play the Famicom Disk System version.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you have to blow into it.
Well, no, actually, it's not true in that version. It's not the flute.
Right, you just yell into the microphone.
Yeah, you have to yell into the microphone. I don't think the flute works in any version.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Maybe like BS Zelda for the Super NES.
Yeah, maybe. Are there Pole's voice in The Link of the Past? I don't remember.
There are not.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but I had to double check. It works in Link's Awakening if you play Marin's song. Works in this one if you play any musical instrument that includes the Harp of Ages.
Man, wouldn't Pole's voice be a terrifying creature if they were an Ocarina of Time? I feel like there was
a beta, like one of the beta things showed that Pole's voice were planned, but like you just play the ocarina and they explode. And it's not like the ocarina is a minor item in that game. Same thing for Majora's Mask it would be. What games are there Pole's voice in?
So they're not in Zelda 3. They show up in Link's Awakening.
Let's see. Zelda, Link's Awakening, Oracle's games, and Phantom Hourglass.
Ooh, Phantom Hourglass could be just scream into the mic and make it work.
By blowing into the 3DS microphone, or the DS microphone, they get stunned.
Hopscotch making incredibly poor decision-making right now.
Hopscotch!
Incredibly poor decision-making by Hopscotch.
Hopscotch!
Hopscotch, you totally knew that you couldn't make that jump.
You can only jump one link high!
So Hopscotch went from about 8 hearts to 3/4 of a heart. I think Hopscotch is hoping that there might be some hearts in the next room. Unfortunately, Hopscotch did not select for his ring the heart ring that regenerates your hearts. We saw Zenik wearing a lot of that ring and generating a lot of health that way. And I'm pretty sure Hopscotch does not have a potion either.
Hopscotch, jump on the trampoline.
Hopscotch has no idea what this weird-looking thing is.
I think has figured out the puzzle because of the markings on the floor.
And Hopscotch dies.
Died to a green soul. That's so sad.
Yep, so Hopscotch jumps into a floor of spikes, and he runs across those, bleeding out through his heels, and then he enters the next room, and then a tiny green slime appears and just taps him with a jiggly pseudopod, and that just causes him to collapse.
Imagine dying to, like, literal jello.
I mean...
That would be effort.
I mean, like... The Blob in the Blob movie, that was kind of terrifying.
No, that's different. That's very different. Also, the Blob from the X-Men, also very different.
Yeah, that's also a very different Blob.
It's like, I could understand some chews being able to kill you because they're, like, electrified. Or, like, whatever buzz blobs are. But not... Azul is just a ooze. It's kind of flops at you.
It's not even really clear what its method of damage. Is it bludgeoning you with its big rubbery body? Are you being poisoned? Is it a poisonous surface that you like absorb it through your skin? Yeah, the hardest part in this room is taking your time. I saw it. I saw that gleam in Hopscotch's eye. He was gonna jump, and then he's like, "Oh, maybe I should hold my horses and not jump into a spike pit again and die horrifically." Hopscotch picks up the compass. This compass has a new feature. Whenever you enter a room and there's a key in that room, it makes a sound. Although it's not really clear, like, do you think that the underside of that compass, it's got like a speaker system in it? Is that where the sound comes from? And it really isn't clear how it knows where the keys are positioned. Does it have some kind of a sonar system where it detects the keys and then it makes a sound based on that? Does it, or do you think that it's more like it reacts to the key? Like maybe the key is made of a unique metal that it reacts
I think it'd
to?
be more along that, or like it's just constantly detecting magic and all the keys are magic, because like, you know, you put them in the lock, all the chains retract into the lock, and then the lock drops to the ground and disappears into nothingness. So, you know, it's just a constant, very specific version of detect magic.
Yeah, I feel like maybe some of this is all based off of the fact that in Zelda 1 you had all these shopkeepers who were selling keys, and maybe it was one of these gimmicks that they were trying to make a bunch of money off of it. But then in later games, like, all those shopkeepers went out of business, and now all we're stuck with is all these shittily designed keys that were made for maximum obsolescence.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure they added it as a feature because sometimes it was hard to tell whether or not the, like if there was a key drop in a room, if it was, like, well hidden behind some weird thing. So that way they could hide things better without it being poor game design.
I think it was probably more along the lines of people realizing that the compass in Zelda 1 just telling you where the boss was really
yeah, it's
not
also
very
garbage.
useful.
It telling you where chests are is useful, but, like, they didn't have it. Because, what, did it tell you where there... did it do more than just telling you where the boss was in A Link to the Past? I can't remember.
I think in A Link to the Past it did show you the chest. I think it showed you the big chest. Because I remember there being a big red splotch on the map. Although I don't know if that was the compass that did that or whether that was just part of the map.
I don't know. But yeah, Zelda 1, the only one where you had to... Well, I guess also technically, Zelda 2 also had separate keys for dungeons. And that let, like, the lion's key exist, but then it's like, well... You could also just not.
Yeah, well, you got the lion's key because it was awesome, because suddenly it was like, you have A keys.
Oh, Hopscotch found a fairy, that was useful. Where's Hopscotch going, even?
So Hopscotch did the little bit of a loop with the feather, and got to the end of it, and all he's got to really show for it is this key. And so now I think he's trying to figure out, all right, where can I put a key? So he's just sort of retracing
I don't think
steps.
he's jumped over the switch yet, which is a good place to be. I think that's coming up soon.
Yeah, so Hopscotch is falling for the trick here. You think, oh, well, when I do this, I gotta run fast and jump over the end, not realizing that you just jump over the switch. Almost made it. There's a much easier solution here. Does Hopscotch pick it up? There it is. Much easier.
There you go, Hopscotch. You have a key, Hopscotch! You have a key, Hopscotch!
No, this is the right choice. Hopscotch is going to talk to this owl, and he's going to get the secret.
Yeah.
Because we saw a couple.
That's what it is.
We saw a couple of players who struggled a little bit with this boss, so hopefully this will mean that Hopscotch figures it out faster.
In water, it is invincible.
But I agree with this 100%, because if you see the locked door, you know, oh, the locked door must be progression. I should go the other way to maximize it. Because in half of these games, it's, oh, there's a locked door, but there's going to be another locked door in the next room, so you need to go find the other key.
Yeah, but in that case, you already knew where the wraparound was, because you'd been able to see it. Okay, in water, it's invincible.
So he's gonna hang out a moment here. See, does it like do a body slam that he can get at it? He's taking a lot of hits here. Needs to figure out what he's supposed to do. He's gonna get a shield. The shield is absolutely worthless.
Tries bonking him. Okay.
Well, we're gonna dig him up. We're gonna dig him up.
I respect the shovel play. We had to dig up the Dungeon 3 mini boss in the last game, so.
Oh, here we go. This is clever. Nope, he's gonna decide that the Rod of Seasons is probably a precious artifact that he probably shouldn't be smacking monsters in the head with it.
Yeah. That'll never happen. Hopscotch did it. So that's all you do. You just cycle through all of your items until you win.
That is basically how you play a Zelda game. Which is completely different.
You got really favorable spawns on one of those squids just spawning off screen, so it never showed up.
Yeah, this has been a convenient fight for Hopscotch. Still, he's taking a lot of damage, even though he has...
You'll get a fairy and get 6 hearts back, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, I guess this is that Squid Game that everybody's been talking about.
I still need to watch that.
Okay, so Hopscotch killed the enemies, and he's like, now what?
Well, no! No, go back!
Yeah, well, he's going to look... Well, what did I miss here? Yeah, it spawns a staircase in the bottom corner of that screen.
It takes him to there.
Yep, he needs... So, and then this also throws you off, because he has explored those rooms up top, but he needs to take the stairs to get to a different part of those rooms. So hopefully he goes back to the squid room, and he's like, okay, there's got to be something there. Because why would I kill a bunch of enemies and just teleport back to the start? Oh, we might be here for a little while as Hopscotch decides to just wander around the dungeon. Alright, so we're up on the second floor here. Hopscotch has been up here. He sees that there's staircases that he wants to go down. So he's kind of working backwards. He wants to get to that staircase. Nope, where's he going? Alright, I have no idea what Hopscotch is doing. I've tried Hopscotch, I'm sorry.
Hopscotch, what are you doing?
He didn't see the stairs in that room, and he's trying to figure out that in his mind, there's nothing there. It's just a dead end.
Yeah, I mean, he did go down into that corner, and it was a different, like, tile.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the indication that something spawns.
Well, and more importantly, you realize that clearing that room must have changed something. And the most logical place for it to change something is in that room.
Yeah, there's very few 2D Zelda games that changing something in one room changes it in another room.
Alright, he's putting things together. He sees this as a staircase, and directly below him is the squid room, and he's going to save his game, and he's like, oh, there's a staircase there. Although that would be a great Kaizo hack, where like you clear a room, you kill all the enemies in it, and it goes dee 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 dee, and just some random other room.
At least he read the map correctly and figured it out.
Yeah.
Lost all his health again though, so that's a shame.
Oh, it's whatever. He's just gonna damage boost everything. Alright, so it looks like Hopscotch knows what's left.
Now, will he die to the giant trap? Or will he get the key?
He's taking his time here. He knows that one stab of this thing is gonna just cleave his arms off.
He skipped the one block he actually needed to push. Oh, okay, he found it that time.
Yeah, he in his mind he knew he slipped and he pushed the wrong block.
I thought he was gonna go around and try to do the 3-block puzzle, but it still wouldn't have solved anything.
Alright, he's just gonna die. He's just gonna get a refill.
Yeah. Where are you going, Hopscotch?
boss door. All that's left is one fight here. All Hopscotch has to do is just get up into this bug's face and just stab it until it stops moving.
Just fight Mothula. It's the easiest version of Mothula across any Zelda game. You know, there's no spikes that randomly cancel damage. It's not a gargantuan, like, nightmarish creature.
In a tiny little room full of conveyor belts.
No, but I mean, Mothula's also in Wind Waker.
That's true. It's in Wind Waker. Also shows up in The Link Between Worlds.
I always forget about everything in A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, everybody forgets about Link Between Worlds.
It's a very forgettable game, other than, like, Ravio or whatever his name is.
Ravio's good stuff. Why isn't Ravio one of the characters in Smash? Why did we get Sora instead?
Because, as was mentioned, Ravio was a coward. An extreme coward. So instead, he just has all the good items and sells them to you.
I mean, is he more of a coward than Luigi?
Yes, because Luigi actually gets shit done when push comes to shove. Alright, Luigi, terrified out of his mind, still went through that whole haunted mansion to save Mario. More than once. Luigi's doing his best. At this point, he might be fed up with this shit, I don't know. I'd like for them to make another Luigi's Mansion game more in the vein of the first one, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
I really liked the second and the third one, though.
I liked the third one, but it's just like the first one was so good that I'd like for them to aim more towards that. The second one, like the third one, it had like the instancing and whatnot, but it was still sort of long, but I just really enjoyed like the feeling of like exploring everything the way that you did in the first one.
Anisep asked, does falling reset boss health? It does.
It does.
The fight starts completely over if you fall into the hole.
It also starts over if you die.
Yeah, that's also a true statement.
Don't die, kids.
Yeah, it's generally not recommended to die, unless it's under doctor's orders. There's a moment of hesitation here where Hopscotch is thinking about what he's doing and realizes he actually did want to go this way.
See, if he had Dimitri, he could have gotten an earlier piece of heart outside of the dungeon and refilled his health and saved, and then every time he died, he could just hard reset. But that's Dimitri only early access heart container. Can't get it with anybody else until you get flippers.
Alright, so Hopscotch is going to get this out of the way at the beginning, and he's just going to jump straight into the first hole so that he's going to be in the optimal position here to immediately attack Mothula. So that was a very optimal strategy to get into the right position. Oop, I think Hopscotch could have finished it there, did not. But I think one more cycle and he should be able to do it, even if he's play cautiously. Come on, just keep hitting him, just keep whacking it. Oh, there's some free hearts.
Hit it! Okay, well he's bought himself some time.
And then he uses it by jumping into a hole.
Oh my god! I don't know how people are playing these games, but like I don't understand how they can jump and like not just constantly hold the sword button.
It's probably playing it on keyboard and mouse. He's got sword mapped to left click and shield to right click.
I feel like that's even easier to do.
And 4 delicious hearts fall into a hole, and Hopscotch.
Oh my god! Hopscotch, please! Stop being so depressing! Charge your sword!
Hopscotch hasn't quite worked out a pattern here that he really likes. Oh, there we go. He's going to start off by grabbing a couple of hearts here. That's going to work out in his favor. In fact, he's just going to keep resetting this and just grab more hearts.
Man, if you made this a cursed ring challenge, this boss would be such a nightmare, because it takes twice as long to kill, and all contact is 2 hearts of damage. This boss is really hard. When you do that. Okay, so we got circles along the outside. The best thing to do is go inside.
Alright, we've got a Lufia Fortress, Rise of the Sinestrals remix here of the boss theme that's going to give the energy that Hopscotch needs to defeat this boss. And there it is. He's going to wait patiently for the heart container
He had to have been on like 1 health, like so often.
He's going to pick up the sun, shove that sun into his backpack. There is the dot done with an SRL time of 2 hours, 51 minutes, 35 seconds. All our players making it through today with sub 3 hours. Well done by all of our players getting through today's goal. Of course, we're only getting started. We will be playing through the entirety of The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons over the next 4 weeks, at which point, hopefully, our players will all see a grand victory. This is our last segmented blind for the year, and then Mystery Tournament will be taking over this channel like an aggressive rash, just covering the whole channel in its entirety so that it can't be recognized. Thank you very much, Alpha 5, for joining me today.
Yeah, it's always good to talk about this game.
Alright, let's see what we've got going on here. Let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and raid Ann K. Ann K is playing some retro games. She is playing through Final Fantasy VI for the Super Nintendo, also known as Final Fantasy III. So let's go on ahead and hang out with Ann K. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I hope you had a lot of fun watching Oracle of Seasons, seeing our players collect some mysterious secrets, and of course we will be back at the same time next week for Segment 2, which is going to be Dungeons 4 and 5. Alpha will be joining me again if he is not distracted by playing more questionable quality ball games with Mid-Boss.
Oh, no. Now it's going to be Nightmare and I are going to play It Takes Two, so that's going to be a disaster.
Oh, that's a good game. I love that game.
Oh yeah, no, but we're gonna fuck it so bad.
Oh man, you gotta let me know when you're streaming that because I want to watch that.
Maybe later today.
Oh man,
I'm not sure yet.
I'm definitely keeping an eye out for that. All right, join us again next week, next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Part 2 of The Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Seasons. And everybody have a wonderful week, and we'll catch you again here on Mystery Funhouse. It's always a mystery, but we'll find out what it is together. Have a good night. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody.